Hello and welcome! It is Team Modern Super League time once again. I'm Randy Bueller. I'm joined this week by Brad Nelson. Welcome, Brad.
Thank you so much for having me. I don't know if I've done the pre-show before, so I'm a little excited about that.
Awesome. Well, yeah, we're happy to have you. You and your boys who bash, brothers who bash. I can't tell how many different names you guys have.
So we're just the Bash Bros podcast with special guest Brian Brown doing, and when we compete, we're the brothers who bash.
All right, brothers
that's all
who
we
bash.
got.
Does that make Brian a brother, or is he still a special guest on the team as well?
Well, so Corey is my brother from another mother, and Brian is our brother from another mother and father. So technically, it is true.
I like it. That works. You guys are up against the Brew crew this week. Now, both teams won their first week, so this match will determine who gets a bye all the way through into the top four. The loser, though, does get to play versus one of the other 1-1 teams to get a spot in the top four. So essentially a loss to give in a weird way to get to the top four. I'm sure you guys were putting in infinite prep time. It's not like there's a Mythic Championship coming up and one that just ended or anything.
Yeah, no, see, we put in as much effort as we need to get one win, and then Brian gets the other three. And
sure.
That's the deal that we've been having so far when it comes to Super League. So I think we did it. I think Corey and I will be able to pull off one, and Brian will have to slog through 3 matches.
Okay. That's a good plan. Look, if Brian's just going to carry, put him up 3 times, no problem.
Oh yeah, there's one rule that I had when we're like, do we want to do a Modern Super League? I'm like, I'll do it if Brian joins our team and plays 3 matches every week, or up to 3. Yeah. I was like, we need someone to carry us here. Like, I'm not known for my Modern expertise, even in my own house. I don't know if you saw my tweet from yesterday, but my fiance just savaged me about Modern. So, I mean, I should probably just stop playing my fun decks. But if I get to play fun things on Modern Super League, I'm happy. And Eldrazi Tron is one of my pet decks, so I'm excited to play it tonight.
Yeah, you've got to play Modern for some stakes coming up, right? We've got the Mythic Championship in Barcelona coming up. I know, everybody talked about one of the best standard players in the history of the game. What is it about Modern that's so different for you? How does that work? Okay.
I've done decent in a few tournaments. I have a fine win percentage in it, but I don't spike, and I make enough mistakes to give me just those, those outside the top 8 shots. Also, like, you don't have to twist my arm to just roll up with Jund, and we know that Jund isn't getting that many wins. And yes, that is a problem of mine, and I have identified it, but I have no way to fix it. And so when I saw Jund win the last Red Bull tournament, I'm like, well, shit, there goes another pro or Mythic Championship.
I'm sure your process for the Mythic has a little more involved than just copying a deck list that won the Red Bull. Who are you working with for the Mythic? No? Tell me about your process. What's the plan?
Well, the plan is I did make a promise that I'm hoping not to break. I told Brian that I'm just going to play whatever he plays. And we're going to like try to stay up to date with that. So I think that Brian actually is, I would consider him a Modern specialist, but he's good at playing the games, but we're not even going to discuss that part of it. I think that his deck selection process in Modern is just very good, even when he's like kind of out of it. Like if he's not playing Modern, he still can look at a format, identify a good strategy, and we've seen that over the years. If you just like looked through all of his stuff, he just picks good decks, and he's gotten multiple. His decks get banned. Mine get cards given back to me from the ban list. Like there's something wrong with that. But no, so I'm just gonna play whatever he plays, and I think Corey packed it up with that too. So we have a pact, and hopefully it's a slaughter pact.
Depends which deck you're playing now, doesn't it?
Yep.
I want to talk to you briefly about the last Mythic Championship. I haven't had the chance to talk to you since, man, congratulations. That's an amazing run.
I haven't talked about that yet. I didn't know I was going to get asked. No, no, it was awesome. It was a very weird tournament. It was a good tournament, but it was just with the whole MPL split.
Right, you had to buy all the way through to day 2. So you only played 3 matches on day 2?
I played 3 matches, not only. You sit against
Rolf
into Shouta. It was exhausting. I was very tired. No. Yeah, I had played 3 matches on day 2. So here's the funny things about that tournament, like not even talking about taking second. I played 8 rounds total, 3 on day 1, 5 on day 2. Well, day 2 and 3. 40% of my matches, 50% of my matches were against the same person.
You played Kai 4 times?
No, I played Kai 3 times.
3 times, okay.
Yeah, and I played I played 9 matches, I guess. I got it wrong. Did I play 9? No, I played 8. Whatever. I played Kai twice in the tournament. You got me confused. I played Kai now 3 times on Sunday. I only played Kai twice in the tournament.
Okay. Yeah. It is insane that you are a majority of Kai Buddha's Sunday losses. It's absolutely one of the most insane stats in the game. The man is, what is he, 18-5 on Sunday, and you're 3-5?
He's 21 and 2 without my 3.
2 of the wins are Team Pro Tours.
Do we not count those?
They only have 2 matches on Sunday.
Well, somebody told me that he was 21-3 or 20 going into the weekend. I just got that stat from somewhere in the ether. It could be wrong.
I thought it was 18, but maybe I did the math wrong.
I didn't do any math. I just got it from the internet.
I might not have added enough of him. I probably forgot to add his wins from the Mythic Championship itself, honestly.
It was 1, yeah.
Anyway,
it was only 1. It was
still a truly absurd statistic.
Well,
the man has only lost 5 times, and you're 3. The bookend too. You were his last loss 10 years ago. They dust him off. Gray-haired, grumpy old man Kai comes out, and you're like, "What? It's the same guy. What the hell?"
So the story to everyone else is different than it is to me. Sure. It's because like that match. So Kai, I never met Kai before I played him. I only knew of who Kai was. Kai, like he was this enigma, right? Like, and like he's not going to lose, and he's really good, and he just came back to the game, and he's in top 8. And I was kind of, you and BDM back in the day were hyping me up, and I was kind of like, you know that feeling when you're on like a treadmill. Well, I don't have that feeling much anymore, but when you're on that treadmill and you're going a little bit faster than you feel comfortable, that's how my career was in 2010. I was just a little rocky the entire time trying to catch up to everything. And now I'm up against Kai, and everyone says he's insane. And he was actually just my favorite opponent ever. And he was just really calm and collected. He had that age on him that like back then, I was a younger player, and I didn't have that maturity at the table like he did. And I just left that match thinking that he was just awesome. And I got the opportunity to play with him, and then we tested, and we all played the same deck. And then 10 years later, I play against him again, but now I'm like this jaded old man just like he is. and that's what was special for me is it's not just the story of what everyone else saw. It's just like, it's cool that like Brian and I have been working and we got to, test with Kai and talk about sideboarding after day 1 and then play him. We both played him in the tournament. It's just, he's just a really awesome guy, and he's really chill.
He is for sure.
But I will give away one fun story about that. After I beat him for the first time, and then he beat Shahar, so we have to play again. He did walk by me before a match, and he just, there's an explicit in here, but he came up and whispered, he's like, "If you beat me another blank time."
That's awesome.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun to play against him.
Which you did. And then you played a match of Magic for $50,000 in prize money.
Yeah.
I played a match for $10,000. I thought it was insane, right? First versus second 20 years ago at the Pro Tour. $50,000 on one match of Magic? Like,
so one of the things, I don't want to butcher his name, Lavunga. I'm bad at this.
Sure. It's fine.
It's not fine. This is just pure disrespectful. But like he was there for the first time, and I could see the nerves from him. And one of the things, if you play Magic for this many years, like you just can turn that off. But I will tell you that when he revealed Opt and he tanked on that Opt, for one, I knew that it was blank. I don't know why I knew it was blank, but I just knew there's no other card in his deck that he tank on.
What's he thinking about, right?
Yeah, and then when he bottomed and he fist pumped, my heart sunk. Like it was tough. But like I rallied and came back, and I don't think I played exceptionally well during this tournament. The situation was different. The lights, the arena, just computers, everything about it was just different to me. Like it was the first time I've ever done that, really. The Invitational, I played 2 rounds in the back and left, so like it didn't give me much experience. But Yeah, like you just have to turn that part off. And sometimes it's not something you just get to choose to do. But after years, I think you can separate yourself from the prize, the fame, the glory, the success, and just the mastery of the game. And you can just do the game and not worry about the other stuff and let the chips fall as they will.
It's funny for me. I actually had the opposite. The first time I had the big match, like the Pro Tour that I won was actually the first Pro Tour I played, and so I just felt like it was house money, right? I was able to just tunnel in, like I didn't care about any of the. I didn't entirely appreciate the stakes, I don't think, and I was able to just focus on the game. But then, like once people are looking at me and expecting me to do it again, those win-in-ins, like I played a couple of win-in-ins and never quite got back there, and those were the ones where I couldn't focus. I think I played worse in win-in-ins for top 8 after I'd already been there once than I did in the run-up to the first time.
That's I hope we get a little bit more time. You just hit on the head. Success doesn't create confidence. It's like
it creates expectations.
Yes. And so like when you were there, you were actually there. Actually, I think this was in a blog, and I couldn't find it again years ago when I tried to find it, but you were there for my first Pro Tour in Honolulu. And I remember you watching my round 16. I just wanted to take 9th. I knew I couldn't top 8, but I didn't have any, there was no pressure. I was just playing the tournament. By then I found my groove in it, and I didn't have these pressures. And you gave me the biggest compliment. You're like, I think he's going to be back. Like, I just expect this kid to be back. But then I got in my head a year and a half later, and all of those things like really messed up my game. And what I've learned is confidence comes from mastery, not success. Success just creates expectations, makes things higher pressure.
How about that?
And so I've definitely thought that, like, if you just work on the game, that's where you're going to build things. Like, I believe I saw Autumn even talk about that, like they had more pressure after winning a Mythic Championship than before. And so I definitely believe that happens.
Yeah, it's well said. I will say, anybody who wants to hear more, the podcast episode you did coming off of the second place at the last Mythic was pretty awesome. I mean, you talked a lot about the different environment, and I think proud of the result. Maybe not every play perfect, but whatever. You still got the job done. Second place is amazing.
And for those of you out there, that is the Bash Bros podcast. You can find it at twitter.com/Bash Bros podcast.
Of course.
We love having fun with shilling.
All right, let's go down and watch the first match. See if the Bash Bros can, in fact, bash the Brew Crew.
This is going to be a tough one.
This first match, you're going to have to carry me here, Brad. I have not actually had the pleasure of seeing this Neoform deck in action yet.
Oh, well, we tested this extensively today. So
did you, or you're just like, it's modern, I don't know what's going on either?
No, we did not. So now what's going to happen, though? I can set the stage.
The London Mulligan, that's what's going to happen, right?
Yes, the London Mulligan is very big for Neoform. Now, what Neoform's trying to do is try to win on turn 1 or 2 using Mad Acceleration, cheating spells into play like Allosaurus Rider. For example, in this hand, I do believe that we can see a turn 2 Gristlebrand with just putting the Allosaurus Rider and then Neoforming it into Gristlebrand. And that might be wrong, but I think that's correct. And then Kenobi can like draw a bunch of cards, Nourishing Shoal. And I assume that this is a very bad matchup because it's so fast and usually Infect interacts with like 0 mana Graveyard Hate and Spell Pierces, but you only get one spot of that. You only get access to one version of that. So it's a very tough matchup because Infect needs combat to win. So whatever they put into play on a turn, it won't be lethal until the next turn. Whereas this deck, I believe, can just kill you the turn it puts Gristlebrand into play.
All right. Well, the Nourishing Shoal went to the bottom. That was a London Mulligan once. Gets to keep this 6-card hand, and Noxious Revival is apparently more important than Nourishing Shoal.
Well, so Allosaurus Rider needs to exile 2 green cards, so that's probably the Manamorphose and the Noxious Revival. And then
they're exiled, right? Of course. So all this hand does is Allosaurus Rider, Neoform, 2 lands. Let's go.
Yeah, and having the Nourishing Shoals in the deck is probably just more important.
Yeah, that makes sense. Totally makes sense. Breeding Pool tapped. Nothing to see here, right?
Yeah. No, this is a very pleasant format. We will be dancing for many turns.
Noxious Revival off the top doesn't seem like it does anything. So here we go. Allosaurus Rider, exiling 2 green cards.
And that's it. It's just a what is it? 3/3. I don't even know the text of Elsor's Rider. I just don't think it matters.
It doesn't matter. It's going to die to Neoform.
Yeah. So now this is going to go get Griselbrand.
Sack a creature, go get a creature. How about this one? Draw 7. There's Nourishing Shoal and Autochthon Worm. I don't know what else is going on. I can't imagine you lose from here.
Okay, it's just I'm assuming it's let me look at the deck list.
It's a Lightning Storm kill.
Yeah, it's just a Lightning Storm kill that we find out about now. Yeah, we're just gonna draw a bunch of cards and discard a bunch of lands. Hopefully something goes wrong and Corey can steal the game with the 2 lands. If Corey knows the interaction, and I would say it's 50-50.
Sure. So it's going to be 3 Summon Spirit Guides to create the 3 red mana for a Lightning Storm. Now, Corey can throw lands and redirect the Lightning Storm, is your point?
Oh, well, I would have said that, but this deck has a Samut Sprint that's in hand. So that Griselbrand is getting haste.
Haste it up, attack, draw some more cards. Why not?
Everything's fine. Bridge is okay. We can get rid of Bridge. Everything will be fine. It'll be all good.
Yeah, good thing we're not allowed to play with Hogak decks and Bridge from Below, right?
Or Stoneforge Mystic. Now, this is probably not the content we want to be making, but
look, I want to see this Mythic Championship is going to be awesome to watch. I am absolutely looking forward to this. It could go, I don't think anybody knows where it's going to go. Like, the thing about the Hogak deck is that everybody knew, oh, this deck is going to be really, really powerful. The Magic Online stat said this deck's going to be really powerful. Now it feels like it's a little more, yeah, it's the Wild Wild West. Right, this deck can kill on turn 2. Other decks can kill on turn 2. There might be some hidden thing in Modern Horizons that, some tech that somebody's going to unleash on the world. I don't think we know what's going to happen now.
I don't know where things are going to go, like you just said, but I do know where things aren't going to go. They're not going to go to time.
Okay. They're not going to go to Bloodbraid Elf either, or you don't know that yet?
Oh, of course. There was 5 Jund players at the last tournament. 60% of those players I tested with. And and combined, I think we had a 50-50, like a close to 50% win percentage, but those other 2 carried us to like the 3rd or 4th highest win percentage in the room. So there will probably be Bloodbraid Elves. I mean, if we can afford the Ren and 6s, I hear they're spiking. So
That's
yeah,
a powerful Magic card.
I think there's just some showboating going on here, just waving through all the cards.
He's looking for something. He just stared at his hand and then drew 7 of the last 11 cards in his library. He's not going to get more. There's 43 cards in Kenobi's hand right now. There's 4 in his library. Corey has played a Wooded Foothills.
I think
I see the Lightning Storm. Is he?
I think we're land counting.
Okay.
Is there there's 4 Simians. Where'd the other one go? Oh, there's one in the top 4.
Presumably.
That's it. So we have Metamorphoses too, though. I think we're checking if we can get through the rest of our deck. How many Metamorphoses we have? Because I think we pitched one earlier, so we can't get all 4 cards. So the Lightning Storm has to be lethal, right? I think that's what's happening. Or if there's a creature, then the Pact can go get one of them if that's one, and then the 3 Metamorphoses can draw the rest of the deck. I've never played this game, and I'm looking at the deck list for the first time, and if I'm right, I am a master.
Yeah, I guess I just got here. Has Corey started playing yet?
Oh no, Corey hasn't started playing. We've been watching.
He hasn't played a spell. Technically.
Oh, okay. My bad.
It's funny. Yeah, between Metamorphose and Summoner's Pact, he can get at those last cards. Yeah, he's down to 2 cards now with the 2 Metamorphoses.
So I feel like we should.
Why does he need them though?
It might be an issue with
how many lands does it play?
Well, it plays plenty of.
There's 16 lands in the deck. What is he worried about? He's worried about Corey having a hand of 6 lands.
Well, it's not. It won't be that many, right? Because it's 20 life, so it's 3 plus.
Yeah, it only takes 7 lands. Yeah, and Corey's like, all right, fine. You've got it. But the interaction is Lightning Storm. Anybody can discard a land to add 3 and redirect it. So Kenobi
doesn't it take more than 7 lands? It's 3 plus 2 for each additional one, right? So at 20 life, it would take. I believe that's correct.
I internalized it as 3 per, but maybe I'm wrong.
I think
it is 3 plus the number of charge counters. Discard a land for 2 charge counters. You're right.
Okay, yeah. I still think they had.
So it does take 10 lands to kill from 20.
Yeah, I thought so.
And the deck plays
or
16?
nine lands plus the spell. Oh
Well,
yeah,
that-
we were dead. Like Corey was definitely
9 lands. Yeah, I was just trying to figure out what Kenobi was working on there at the end. It's 9 lands to kill.
I
'cause
think
it's
it
3
was
plus.
the greed to find the last Sibian Spirit Guide. And if there was a green creature in the deck, that could have been done by like pacting for it and then drawing 3 cards and then doing it. But yeah, he had the kill. It seems degenerate. Like that when this deck actually does its thing, it seems just really, how do you beat it?
I agree. What is up with the Brew Crew bringing the like ridiculous thing? I guess Kenobi's got a little more spike in him than
they
the
also
rest of his
brought,
boys.
They brought Merfolk, so they had to like try to get a good win in, right? Like it's kind of...
They did bring Merfolk. I gotta say though, like I don't think Merfolk is a priori absurd because you get Force of Negation, right? You get to be an aggro creature deck with 4 Force of Negation. That doesn't sound awful.
It does though. Like,
okay.
Like, I mean, what about like? There's just matchups where that's not going to be good, and you're playing Merfolk.
No, but if you get the good matchups, like Force of Negation would have destroyed Kenobi here.
But that's just Modern, right? Like, if you get
that's my point. If that's a majority of the decks in Modern, that 1 Force of Negation is going to cause them to crumble, then maybe you're allowed to talk yourself into Merfolk.
You can talk yourself into everything. That I have went down that path. Corey and I struggle in this format because it is very easy to talk yourself into anything. But this does feel like a what is it? You played the format Canadian Highlander.
Yeah.
This feels like that. Like you have so many points to your decks, and they're like reverse points. They're like, if we're gonna play Merfolk, we got to play something super spiky.
I'm actually happy to get to see Neoform on display. It feels like it was floating around and then Hogak stole the spotlight when Modern Horizons came out. It's like, remember when we had London Mulligan briefly? Neoform seemed ridiculous.
Yeah, we just didn't get to play it because the new card didn't come. That's why we didn't play it at the tournament. Neoform wasn't out yet.
Right.
Yeah, and so this is a good start for Corey. We don't have an Infector. We don't really have a clock, but we have one of our 2 interactive spells.
I mean, Kenobi's got turn 2 Neoform again. I think that's only 1 mulligan, or was that 2? He basically needs to keep 6 cards. How do you win off the multi 5? Is there a different non-Allosaurus Rider? You just have to trust you're going to draw the land or whatever?
Oh yeah. I mean, if this deck had consistency, the format, it would have been banned, like that is just a certainty. And it was only 1. How lucky. 2 6s with this deck.
Right. Down to 6 because you need basically 6 to set up the turn 2 Neoform.
Yeah, like I said though, this is all part of plan. Corey and I have to combine total go 25% tonight to win the Super League and be 2-0. Does that put us in the finals? I don't think it does yet.
You get to the top 4 if you win tonight.
All right, that is great. So this if we got to steal this one, everything will be golden. So yeah, Corey's just gonna get in for 1.
Sit on a Spell Pierce.
Yeah, not the tactic I would have deployed, dealing actual damage to the Nourishing Shoal deck, but to each their own.
What was he gonna do with the mana?
No, I know. I'm saying not. I would have drawn an Infector.
Oh, I see. That does seem better. There's your Allosaurus Rider. Here is turn 2 Neoform once again. Allosaurus Rider gets upgraded into Grizzlebrand, but no, the Spell Pierce off the top rope. No turn 2 Grizzlebrand this time, and now Kenobi has 4 lands and nothing.
Yeah, and it's going to take a lot of time to rebuild. I mean, can this deck do anything besides that? Like, are we talking like? Are we going to see a Simian Spirit Guide holding back a Noble Hierarch? Because that's more possible this game than any other type of interaction.
The Dryad Arbor just came out to beat down, didn't it?
Oh yeah, got to get that clock on.
I mean, with this clock, maybe Kenobi can stitch it together again.
So let's do some math. So currently we have 8 damage in hand, right? So that's 10 damage total, and so that gives 4 draw steps without drawing anything. Now, if we draw 1 more of those, the game's over, right? Yeah, I think then we're golden. That has to be the worst draw in the deck.
Forest.
No, Gristlebrand.
Oh yeah. Gristlebrand. Forest wasn't very good either. Oh wow, Cantor!
Here we go.
Can almost fight. Wow, this is the glassiest cannon I think I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
That one spell pierce and it just completely folded. Like I played Belcher decks in Vintage. They're way more resilient than this.
Oh yeah, I mean that's just the stack. It needs so many combo pieces because it has so many stages, right? Like you first have to get the Allosaurus into play, then you have to Eldritch Evolution or Neoform it to get correspond. Then you need to draw your entire deck while pitching Nourish and Shoals. There's so many steps, and so there's no interaction. You just don't have time for it. All right, so I think
Corey's like, do I want to pump my guy up, but then Wild Cantor can chump block and
yeah, I mean this is lethal, so Corey's definitely going to go for it now. Like if Corey has lethal in 2 turns, so if through a block, so if this gets blocked, if there's no block, Corey wins.
You have to block if you're Kenobi here, right?
Probably
the guy
not.
who went main phase might have old Krosa and then attacked into you. You
no. Kenobi's just ready to just win game 3 on the play on turn 1.
If he's already given the game up, that's fine. There's nothing he can draw.
That was one of the maybe better or worse things for my career is when I accepted that there are just games you're going to lose, and sometimes you just spend a little bit of time in game 2 thinking about game 3 instead of like putting your heart and soul into it.
For sure.
Oh, I love it. A lot of people say there's no better feeling in Magic than when you're gonna win the game, but your opponent lets you keep playing forever. I kind of find this like peace in the fact that I'm playing a game that I can't win, but I still get another game to win the match.
I really enjoy when you figure out that you can't beat a certain card, and so now you don't have to play around it.
That's a good one too.
I like
also
that feeling.
like when you just don't play around anything.
That one I feel guilty for. The like I thought about playing around that card. I knew I couldn't beat it anyway. I didn't have to play around it. That feels for some reason.
Oh, just the triple elf draw.
That is, I mean, if he keeps that, he's just relying on Kenobi's deck and falling apart. Which maybe that's a good bet. If he mulligans, he's mulliganing for what? The Spell Pierce?
So this is probably going to be a keep, and it might be a turn 2 kill. But if we don't draw a land or Summoner's Pact, that's mulled that too. Doesn't that? Oh wait, no. Yeah, Pack can't get Seaman Spirit Guide. This deck is so bad at times. So we're on 5. Are we keeping this as a 5?
The no lander?
Ooh, and Corey kept another no infect. Has another no infect. But we might just get, I didn't think about scale up plus Noble Hierarch. That is fast. Are we going to see Infect win 2 games? I truly believe we will. So this is on 4 now. So it might just be get the Allosaurus into play and hope. But what? Yeah, this
Wild West. This modern format right now is kind of crazy.
So is Standard. I tweeted about it earlier today, but Nissa plus Nexus on turn 4. So Nissa, who shakes the world, costs 5 mana, and then I use that mana to cast a Nexus and other spells, or I was going to, but my opponent conceded because I casted Nissa and Nexus on turn 4. Like,
yeah, Corey's just like, all right. Land 2 hierarchs and 2 scale ups. Let's fight.
Oh, I didn't even know Corey went down to 5. Is Corey on 5? I guess so.
Yes, there are 5 cards in his hand.
Yeah, that was like mulligan into the identical hand.
Well, they're London mulligans, so you saw this hand with 7 cards in it. He's now put 2 on the bottom.
Is that what happened?
I think so. And Kenobi's kept 4. What does the Chancellor do? Chancellor of the Tangle
It adds
reveals
mana.
for green.
It allows you. So let's just say this hand was a 7 card. It would have allowed for turn 1 Neoform if there's a Neoform, if the hand was perfect. So it can add a mana on turn 1 to accelerate you, and then also pitch to your Allosaurus Rider.
God, is there really no better kill than Lightning Storm?
Scale up right now. Wait, what are you doing?
These Simian Spirit Guides are so bad. They can't cast Neoform. They can't be exiled to Allosaurus Rider. They can't be gotten with Summoner's Pact. They're just hanging out to fuel Lightning Storm. They do nothing except Lightning Storm.
Oh yeah, I can't defend them. The deck is just a salt machine. Like, it's just like, if you get your opponent, they're like,
so you just wander around the tournament hall, leaving a trail of salt behind you. I guess they feel Manamorphose. That's fair.
Yeah. So Kenobi has a 1-turn window because Corey can only deal 2 damage. Has a total of 10 damage right now, and needs to deal 12.
All true.
And then we got our win. We win. Do we have to finish the other 6 matches?
I believe the Brew Crew wants to see if BBD is actually is the guaranteed 3-0 you've put him forward as.
Well, I told BBD I want to win Team Modern Super League after winning the standard, and the only way to do that is for him to get 3 wins each week. So, all right, that should do it if Corey goes for it. That is lethal, and we win round 1. Oh, maybe we take a backup plan.
No, scaling up.
Oh yeah. I mean, like we said, there's no interaction to play around. I mean, there is.
Lightning Storm is an instant. He could Simian Spirit Guide, Mana Confluence, cast Lightning Storm. This
could have, but not anymore.
It's too late now. You had to do it as a response to scale up.
It became a worm.
Hilarious.
Going for it.
It's too late, right?
Yeah, you have to discard lands. This is just for fun. This is just having some fun. Just killing the other elf.
Kill the other one.
Yeah. This is...
Good beats. All right. Neoform looked unbelievable in the first game. Mm-hmm. And it London mulliganed into a 6-card turn 2 kill again in game 2. But one Spell Pierce, and the whole thing fell apart. Next thing you know, he's Lightning Storming, Lightning Noble, Hierarch, and packing negating his own spells.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it is a glass cannon strategy.
Wow. We saw the cannon and we saw the glass. That was actually interesting. Totally.
So what do we have up next? I think Brian, we got our MVP play next round, right?
BBD is up. He's taken on Caleb. He's got the deck. We decided last week this Grixis deck is called Wurza.
Wurza? I like Wurza.
Wurza, right? So totally.
Yeah, I like it.
So Wurza up against the Rakdos Unearth deck that Caleb has brought.
So I mean, we're playing very, very common modern matchups this week. Just a very boring, just repetitive. Like
this Urza deck. This Urza deck has been in every week since the card was printed. Like we've watched it on. The card is insane, and like the deck around it seems to just keep getting better. I mean, I think people have settled on this Whir of Invention, with a sort of a prison sub theme, or at least in Snaring Bridge. That feels like the shell people have put around it, but that card is legit. And yeah, I think that it has been played by more teams than there have been weeks since Modern Horizons came out.
Well, artifacts are just really fun to play with, and this is a card. It's like Sai, right? Like Sai is an awesomely fun card, and this card's very similar, and it does a lot of cool things. And Brian is just interested in it because he likes these artifact strategies and just like trying them out. Plus, Thopter Sword is just a fun combo, like to just while you're doing it. So I can get behind it. I hope it might need a little bit more interaction in this matchup, but I'm excited to watch it at least.
All right. We will see what happens. The brothers have bashed their way to a 1-0 lead, but Brew Crew's still got plenty of Magic left to be played. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back for round number 2.
CoolStuffInc.com is your home for everything Magic the Gathering. Need singles for constructed or kitchen table play? Looking to pick up some sealed product or the latest in Magic accessories? We've got you covered with our extensive live inventory. With free shipping on orders of $100 or more, a 25% buy list bonus, and our ever-popular customer rewards program, CoolStuffInc.com is the place for all your Magic the Gathering needs.
All right. Hello and welcome back to the Team Modern Super League. My name is Corey Ballmeister and I'm joined by Vince. Vince, how you doing, my man?
I'm good. I just got bashed pretty hard.
Yeah, I love that I was the infect side and I dealt exactly 0 infect damage.
0 infect. I was hoping you'd deal 0 infect because I'd kill you, but that's not how the games went.
Yeah, no kidding. No, so what do you think of that matchup? Do you think it went like it should, or do you think that was a little off?
Well, a little bit, because I expected game 1 to be very heavily favored to me, and then the sideboard games to matter a lot more. So that was quite as planned. The first match I wasn't slow rolling, by the way, for chat at home. I played the deck like through 2 leagues today to practice with it again, and now it's like it's 2:30 in the morning here in England. So I was sat there like, how come I haven't got enough lands to kill him, forgetting that I added 2 charge counters per land. So I'm blaming that for why I slow rolled.
Hey, no, don't sweat it at all. I was just making you do it just because.
Yeah, of course.
This may be embarrassing, but I have never played against the deck, and I didn't know exactly how it killed. I knew I was dead, but I just generally wanted to see how it was. So.
well, I punted some games way earlier today, so it's always worth checking, isn't it? But but chat were convinced I shouldn't have gone for it in game 2, but I mean, I had 2 lands in hand as well, so I could have just waited 2 turns and gone for it, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, I had absolutely nothing as far as infect, and I wasn't even sure if I was really supposed to keep the hand because it was just like spell pierce, pump spells, and noble hierarchs. I'm like, I don't know how aggressively I'm really supposed to mulligan with this, or if I was just supposed to just jam it. But I was just hoping the game would play out like it did game 1, that it would just be turn 2. I could get you with a good old 4 for 1, but
Well, that's the thing. So I was like, I didn't come here not to try and turn 2, right? And the quicker I get it done, the quicker we get to commentate, the quicker I can go to bed because it's very
smart.
late here. I won't be doing that every time I'm on, but this week I was like, I'm here to play fast and go hard, and if it goes, and it went horribly wrong, as you can see.
Yeah,
and then
well,
we
impressive.
We both mulled, didn't we? You went to 5 and I went to 4.
I went to 5 and I kept scale up, noble hierarch, land. I was like, well, this is like, I don't know, 3-turn clock or something. But
well, I did consider. Well, I say consider. I was considering Lightning Storm being your next noble in response to the next pump spell, the turn you killed me. But what happened? Because I can obviously Noxious Revival it back later down the line.
Yeah, because you only play 1, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah, but when what happened was I'd F6'd, so you cast scale up and it resolved. And I went, well, I guess the decision's been made, and then I died. So it wasn't a good spot to be in, but I thought
brutal. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that.
Infect? Oh, sorry.
No, I've absolutely never played it. So I've never played Infect, and I've never played it in that matchup. I was assuming it would go favored to you. I mean, I have like 2 spell pierces to bring in, which I thought were actually going to be pretty good. But other than that, I just had to bring in like Path to Exile, which basically does nothing. But to hit one of my own creatures, because Mother of Ruins, like I felt was pretty dead. I mean, Lightning Storm seemed like a pretty narrow thing to protect myself from. But
I mean, the paths work if people overindulge with the draw 7s. So if you don't nourish and control correctly, you can get them before they can draw another 7. If that makes sense.
Oh, true. Yeah. I wasn't thinking of that, but
yeah, exactly. Well, it only happened to me in my second game of the deck today. But I thought I was heavily favoured. The mulligan of game 3 was rough, and game 2 I probably went too hard. But that's modern, right? You don't play reactive game plans in modern. You play as proactive as possible. And
aren't you glad that we made a banning earlier in this week to make this a very normal, balanced format?
Yeah, I generally believe I don't like the Neoform deck existing. That's why I'm playing it so much. I was hoping it'd go a lot better, so I can try and prove to people that the deck is. I think it's quite inconsistent, but I think it's not a fun thing to exist in the format when you can just die on turn 1. Like, that doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah, you shouldn't be able to do that where you're just dead before you untap. I agree with you. Yeah, but the thing is, like, I just listened to basically Magic Twitter, and I was like, okay, is this deck real? And I've heard so many things, like you just said, like it's very inconsistent, that it's not really worth it. So I basically just put it out of my mind, and I'm like, if I lose to it, sure. If I get turn 1 killed at the Pro Tour while what I'm testing for, fine, that's cool. I'm just going to not try any more new decks than I already have to. I'm already drowning.
I think the inconsistency is overplayed a little bit. I think people are using that to defend the deck. I mean, I'm all good. I'm all good with us see how the format freshens out, right? I mean, I folded to a Narset earlier today because that card's, if you haven't got removal, how do you deal with a Narset? I can't draw 7. So maybe the Spark Walkers are good enough.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Next up, we've got Brian on Wurza, as you're calling it, and Caleb is playing Rakdos Unearth.
To be fair, we did not call it Wurza. I don't think our name
Where does this name come from?
I don't think our name was approved. I think BBD wanted to call it Grix Anus. But but I'm guessing that got removed, so I had to give it a little bit of light.
Athena's laughing in our ear, so I'm pretty sure that was not approved.
That's all I was trying to do, was get a rise out of Athena. So, all right. Well, hey, my man, it looks like we're ready to watch BBD versus I don't even know who else is playing, but let's check it out.
It's Caleb.
Caleb. Okay, gotcha. I didn't look at the lineup before though. So.
Classic matchup of Wurza versus Rakdos Unearth. This is what Modern was designed for.
Yeah, pure tier 1 metagame right here.
So let's have a look at opening hands.
How do you think this matchup unfolds here? I'm pulling up the list as we go.
I'm gonna say I have no clue upon who is more likely to win. I mean, Brian's just played a Prismatic Vista, which I've made the argument that's like almost a borderline unplayable card because it doesn't do anything that other fetch lands don't do because of shock lands. But maybe I'm wrong. Brian's a pretty good Magic player, so maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I don't really understand. I mean, I guess you don't want, flooded strands and stuff like that in a deck where you don't have a bunch of duels. It made sense to me, I guess. But BBD just wanted to play this deck. None of us argued, and here we are. He does have
cool,
2
though, if you
duels.
got pet decks.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got 3 polluted deltas, 2 prismatic vistas, and 3 scalding tarns.
I hope I'm vindicated at some point in the next 3 games where Brian can't fetch one of the dual lands and loses the game. And I'm like, told you, Prismatic game was good. So Caleb's just thought seized away this Thopter Foundry, which seems
Probably pretty huge.
Yeah, seems like the correct line. I mean, the Goblin Engineer can go get another Foundry, but it also puts it into the bin. The other thing about Engineer is that I can get things out of the bin as well, but you need some artifacts to be able to do that. I guess Mindstone performs that, but I guess the Mindstone is probably more valuable in accelerating towards Urza.
Exactly. I feel like this is another deck I haven't seen really in action too much. But it seems like Urza Lord High Artificer isn't something you necessarily need to rush out. It seems like more of a long game plan, but
Sure.
yeah.
But I mean, the Valley can also be that you just make a big dude and hit them with it.
Exactly. Yeah. Lightning Bolt doesn't deal with that. I
So,
absolutely love the Unearth Elemental, though. Like, just Unearth, take 6. No big deal.
Yeah, hitting people's terminals is pretty fun. Caleb seems to be quite keen on Dreadhorde Arcanist. He played it last week when we played as well.
Okay.
And he's making Rhinos with it that week. And this week he's going to be, I guess, unearthing Skelementals if he can get there.
Well, I mean, so Caleb is actually by far my favorite streamer. Like, it's not even close. I absolutely love watching him. And every single event I see him in, whether or not it's the Super Leagues or like Twitch Rivals or something like that, I always see him dominating. So I'm never really the one to argue with Caleb's choices.
So, I mean, he's had the Thoughtseize for the Foundry and the Bolt for the Engineer. The Engineer got an Ensnaring Bridge, I believe. So I guess this is, if we're looking at some of his deck lists here, like, as we are, because people at home, we have complete access to all deck lists. Brian is aware that Caleb's going to have like Gomag Anglers and Skelementals coming at him. So Ensnaring Bridge is an obvious choice. Unfortunately, he's not going to get to reanimate it with Goblin Engineer because it got killed.
Got bolted. Bolt the Engineer, as they say.
Oh, we're going to see some new Modern Horizons cards that aren't Hogak on screen. Yeah, here we go.
Speaking of, how much do you love not seeing Hogak on repeat for these Super Leagues?
I played it last week just because I had to, you know.
You had to. We played it because we had to too. It's like, okay, I mean, this deck is disgustingly busted, and we'd be foolish to not play it.
I mean, I played Green White Death and Taxes and got absolutely ruined by was it Hogak that I lost to? Can't remember what I lost to now.
Yeah. Well, it can't be as bad as mine. I was playing Is It Phoenix, and I lost to Tron. And then later on, I played Tron, and I lost to Is It Phoenix. So I lost the double-edged sword last time we played.
Phoenix is the deck that I'm not looking forward to seeing around too much now. It's I don't know. It feels like it might be just a little bit too good. Better than most choices in the format. So Skelemental is just lightning, right? Yeah, I was checking it is. So when it hit then, I've lost track. When it hit, did Brian discard 2 cards? He discarded a land and a bauble? Or land and a whir? Land and a whir.
You're right.
And now Caleb gets to follow up with After a Blightning. An old school Jundy Blightning comes a Gomag Angler.
Yeah, Elemental is disgusting. I mean, discarding 2 cards when it connects and it's always going to connect is just so brutal.
I mean, Caleb has opted here to delve away his entire graveyard, including his Elemental. The reason for that is he wanted to follow up with Double Spell, so he wanted to play this seasoned Elder Pyromancer. The reason for that was because he only had 1 land card in hand, so he actually got to draw an extra card.
Yep.
So the thing to remember with Pyromancer,
able to actually cast a spell here, which is definitely going to be helpful.
Well, he cast an Urza, he also drew an Urza for turn. But casting Urzas into Urzas is actually perfectly fine as well because the construct it brings.
That's true.
Urza is very strong and perhaps responsible for the Paradox Engine ban in Commander.
Easily could be.
Good riddance to bad rubbish.
I would say he's not going to be able to go Urza into Urza with another Lightning Skelemental coming down.
Well, the great thing about Skelemental is the trample as well, right? So even this 4/4 Golem can't stop the Blightning train.
Unless he double blocks. That's smart. Really, really valuing the second Urza in his hand.
And obviously, the 6 points can't kill either creature. I'm so tired I didn't even consider double blocking. The Magic's become a lot more simple in my head. Whether we can do 2 or not.
Hey, I just moved to the East Coast, and I thought it was super late for me starting. But yeah, I can't imagine being all the way over there in England. That's brutal that it's 2
I'm
a.m.,
going to
huh?
sleep before next time. If there is a next time, I don't know how the tournament structure works at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, I think no matter what, we have one more round. The
Right,
winner of this is automatically into the semifinals, is what I was gathering, but I also could be wrong on
Sure.
that too.
Yeah. Just have to have time to breathe, let alone check this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So Caleb is going to do. Is Pyromancer 2 in the front end? It is, isn't it? I can't quite see
It is too, yeah. So we're going to be taking 7 here down to 5. It's definitely a precarious life total, but I think this is pretty
body, and you
decent.
get to cost Urza next turn as well.
We're really hoping from the Brothers Who Bash shot side that Urza is the one that's put in front. No, right as I say that, Caleb's too smart and switches it around.
So if you didn't have the information of Urza in hand, which one would you put in front of that Skelemental to die?
I think I would probably put Urza in because it scares me more, but that's being said from a point of inexperience against the deck.
Sure.
Yeah. But no, I like this play from Caleb. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and I guess the Urza doesn't kill either of the other creatures that are currently in play. It doesn't grow to be a larger threat. I mean, he can untap and activate its like Mind's Eye, whatever the other card is, ability, and then get a random card from his library. But he's not Saffron Olive, so he won't get randomly the best card that he could get for the situation. So
Saffron Olive is the lucky one.
Yeah, well, last week he was playing Urza and he activated Urza 3 times. And as we were commentating, myself and Emma were like theorizing the best possible draws, and he was hitting them every time. He's like, he needs another Urza. Oh, he got another Urza. I think he hit Urza twice off of Urza activations to get more golems. It's pretty impressive.
Easy. Yep. Easy stuff.
So Brian, he's floating 2 blues. He had to cast the Urza or crack the Mind Stone.
I would assume if he's floating blue, he would be playing Urza here, or is he just blind activating?
Activating and hitting a cage. A singular cage. So not terrible, but he is on 5, and that is a 5/5 on the other side of the board.
But here with BBD smart, because basically if he would have hit a land or an artifact, now he can go Mox Opal and play the other Urza still.
Right.
So that was actually a really great play. I mean, but if BBD hit like Whir of Invention or something like that, if I'm reading this correctly,
I guess if lands were
that
hot
would have been like a really big dagger of a hit.
Yeah, so if lands with a hot hit, then I guess statistically that was the most likely to lead to a good outcome. I mean, he's not dead.
What am I missing here? Why didn't BBD play Urza there? Am I missing something?
He didn't have the mana. He only had 3, right? He played the so he cracked Mind Stone for the extra land that you're seeing now.
Oh, he played Spire Bluff and it was not untapped.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Caleb's now ripped Elemental off the top and Skelementaled his way to victory.
Easy win.
I'm gonna feel like such a heavy weight if our team makes it through the win this week.
Hey, that's what it was for me last week, man. I didn't win a single match, and BBD 3-0'd and carried us. So
I got to redeem myself last time we played, but this week I said, can I just play one round? Because there's 4 of us in our team.
Oh yeah.
Logistic errors. So I was like, I'll take the one round this week so I can go to bed.
Okay.
So BBD is bringing in Psy. It's a good way of getting some value and grinding out.
And ley lines, it looks like.
Yep.
Yeah, brought in 4 ley lines, which makes sense. I mean, trying to shut down Unearth, but still leaves a little bit of problem. I mean, shuts down Delve and stuff too, but...
Well, no, there's way more than that. So the Rakdos deck has Bloodghast, Dreadhorde Arcanist, Flamewake Phoenix, Gurmag Angler, and Unearth, and Tasica. So all of those cards are out of the graveyard. Actually, Seasoned Pyromancer as well. Does that say go to graveyard? No, you can still discard to exile and get the value.
Okay, so shuts down 80% of the deck.
Yeah. Leyland's pretty strong here.
All right, that's fair.
Even Faithless Looting, it destroys the back end, obviously. And then we've got Caleb bringing in Leyland as well.
That's interesting. That's less effective on this side. It just shuts down what Sword of the Meathopter combo? Is that?
Yeah, I think it's the combo that he's concerned with, perhaps.
I guess. I mean, but it's still a prison deck, right? Like, I mean, you're still just trying to stop your opponent, from being able to kill you, and then you can win in a variety of ways through card advantage, through Urza. So I would definitely say the ley lines are better in BBD's deck here than they are in Caleb's, but obviously still fine against Caleb.
Yeah,
and
I
I think
definitely
this
agree.
is one of the matchups where they're not going to be mulling to 3 and 4 respectively. So
Yeah.
it might be a little bit different of post sideboarded games than we had.
But I mean, the other thing as well is that Caleb might be respecting the goblin. I say respecting or over respecting, if that's a term, the Goblin Engineer and its ability to
Sure.
tutor up problematic things like Ensnaring Bridge. Because does Caleb have an
Sure.
answer to Ensnaring Bridge in his sideboard?
I think Shenanigans, right?
2 Shenanigans and a Biforce, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's got answers to it, but he might just be scared of that as well.
That could be.
But interestingly, BBD has sided 2 engineers out for his ley lines. So
Yeah.
those just got a lot worse.
A little bit of leveling going on here.
Okay,
All
1
right.
land, double Serum Visions, snap keep, right?
I think so. I mean,
Are you
otherwise
gonna-
the hand is pretty weak, but
I mean, it's got Crypt as well, which means he has got like a proactive piece of disruption. But
yeah, I don't know if that's enough.
I
but
think I'll be tempted to ship that off.
I think I would be too, but
He's kept it, so let's see if he's punished.
well,
I
that
mean,
lightning elemental or lightning skelemental it just seems like no matter what it's going to connect, and no matter what it's going to get a lot of value out here.
I haven't played with Skelemental yet. I think I underestimated it.
Yeah, I've been playing with skelemental a lot lately in testing in Modern Horizon drafts.
Inquisition is going to take Serum Visions here, and if
Yeah.
BBD doesn't draw a land, he might just die.
So he definitely scryed. I don't know if he scryed top or bottom, but yeah, this is rough.
Just a shout out to Athena. I think the scores aren't correct because didn't Caleb win the round? Shouldn't it be 1-0?
Caleb did. Yep, it is 1-0 on the left side. So they do it by the name, like under Caleb's life total.
Oh,
Yep. That is the match for like the team.
right.
Yep.
Oh, I see. BBD ripped that mountain and played an Astrolabe, straight into another Astrolabe or Astrolabe.
So I don't know why. I think BBD maybe just doesn't know how. Or wait, you need to funnel a snow-covered land into Astrolabe, correct?
No, I think it converts non-snow mana into snow mana.
Okay, then I feel like he could have just played that other Astrolabe, unless we're missing something here.
So it might be that he's missing the fact that because it's a snow permanent, it produces snow mana.
Yeah,
I didn't know that until I saw somebody do that to me in a game of Pauper.
that's true. That's true. It isn't written on the card or anything, so
No, exactly.
it is kind of
it's not-
worded kind of poorly on that, but
It's not necessarily intuitive to the card's like
definitely.
design. So
Yep.
he might lose this Astrolabe here. Yes. Okay.
Doesn't want the whir, which is interesting. I'm sure it.
I mean, the whir needs
Pretty
2
good
more
draw.
blue sources to get anywhere. There's one of them.
That's true. Well, technically, he could whir for 1 right now, right? Like funnel the red into blue, Mox Opal, blue with Canal, and then.
Oh, of course. So I forget the Astrolabe fixes the mana. So now, yeah, he is online for 1, which could get a Grafdigger's Cage in response to an Unearth, for example.
Sure. I don't know how. Or it could just get Astrolabe just to try to draw 1 more card to get Urza down. I think that's what I would do with
Well, I
my
mean,
limited experience with this deck. And by limited, I mean this game. So
But unfortunately for BBD, I don't think he's going to do that because he's about to get Lightning Elemental in the face.
yeah. Is he looking to do something now? I mean, if he does get Lightning Skelemental, being able to discard the card you draw plus an Urza and then have 1 Urza to hold back, it's not
Sure.
horrible, but definitely not great. Definitely not great.
So I guess at this point he's going to go get the Astrolabe so he can try and hit the land drop this turn.
Yeah, other targets include Grafdigger's Cage, Nile Spellbomb if it's still in the deck. Yeah, Astrolabe makes sense. All right, so BBD is going to be taking a good old slap to the face here and losing Urza and Spellbomb. And then unearth the following turn. So if BBD doesn't draw a land, then he's just going to be completely up against.
Tormod's Crypt will stifle the Unearth, if you will.
That's true.
It's on board as well, though, so I don't even think Caleb bothers. He might actually run out the Dreadhood Arcanist to force the issue.
That was huge.
That was
I mean,
good.
still has the Terminate. So, I mean, basically has to choose, does he want to allow BBD to have a 5/5 or an engine?
That's a tough decision here as well, because the 5/5
That's
is actually
tough.
going to blank everything in Caleb's deck. It's only
I
going to
think-
get bigger as well.
I think I mean, I don't think you lose to damage from BBD's side, so I think I would take down Urza. Yeah, and he just snaps it off. I think came to the same conclusion. You just don't lose to just a 5/5 here.
Well, that said, apart from the Gurmags, most of his deck isn't very good on defense. Bloodghosts can't block. The Skelementals don't stick around, and Dread Arcanist's stats are pretty poor.
And there's really no way to pump the Arcanist to be able to flashback terminate from this list, as far as I can see.
Exactly, yeah. So actually, this Golem or construct could go the distance.
It really could. So we got a 4/4 now.
The graveyard was exiled during that
conversation
we just had.
That's about one of the worst draws BBD could have had. Like the only non-redundant thing that does not pump the construct here.
In our third game when I mulled to 4, I was like, well, I just need to draw lands and green cards. That's not hard.
Yeah.
And then I drew Simian Spirit Guide into Lightning Storm. I was like, well, those are exactly the cards I didn't want to draw.
Oh my god, that was an excellent draw on Caleb's part there. Faithless Looting to get rid of some of this some of these unnecessary cards, and now can unearth, and then actually Faithless Looting with the Arcanist. Probably not going to want to attack into a 4/4, but that is an option.
Yeah, and no, he values it too highly, way too highly.
Yeah, definitely.
That's interesting that the Arcanist's recasting on Earth, for example, isn't so hot because it gets creatures back that then. Oh, they don't die. It's only the Skelementals that die. I'm thinking of it wrong.
But if he gets back to Skelemental, then the Skelemental will still die. Oh.
Yeah, and he won't be able to attack with it off of the Dreadhorde Arcanist.
That was a nice draw, though.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah.
Is that a corner turned? Well, that was not a good draw from BBD. The Thoughtseize doesn't do a whole lot here with an empty hand.
Yeah, not really. Dropping the Leyline here, which isn't too relevant. At what point does BBD start getting in there? You know, I mean, I feel like I probably would have already, but
well,
of course,
the cage just turns off the Dreadhorde Arcanist now, right? So
yeah,
I would. Well, that's the problem. If he slams with the 5/5 and then Caleb rips an Elemental,
I mean, he goes to 1. He goes to 1.
But I mean, letting the Arcanist through now. So here we go. So he hits with the Construct, takes him to 14.
Yep.
Caleb's going to swing back and take him to 7, which means he's dead to a ripped lightning.
The following turn, you're saying. Gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. It's basically a 2-turn clock. But then again, at the same time, there's one in exile, one in graveyard, so maybe he just needs to fear the 2 of now.
Yeah.
Arcanist attempts to find a card to cast. Well, he can find it, just can't do it. With the Grafdigger's Cage stopping it.
Yep.
Caleb is drawing very cold. He had some very strong draws initially, and now he's
so he's got. Oh, that's gonna probably close it out because Lightning Skelemental was the live draw before, but now it's not even lethal. So it's gonna be pretty tough from here. Looks like we might be going to a game 3.
Yep, the BBD. Sorry, did Caleb draw another land?
Yep, that's flooding out. And a bridge. He probably won't want to play that one.
This is Caleb's out. Is Brian accidentally just casting that bridge?
Yeah, trust me, it is in BBD to just absolutely want to cast Ensnaring Bridge whenever he sees it. It's one of his favorite cards. So I'm sure he's just like, oh, nice.
A fun fact about my testing. So when I played Neoform before, I played it with Seismic Assault.
Okay.
Which is a much easier card to play with. Oh, okay. Young Pyromancer Seasoned Pyromancer actually makes 2 bodies here.
Or 1 body, right? Because if you discard a land, it does not create
so what I meant, himself is a 2/2, and then an extra.
Oh, yeah. Yep, exactly.
Then a Flamewake Phoenix, which flies over the top of these creatures.
Wow. Okay. This ain't over yet.
I'm also talking about my deck, and there's more to happen here.
Yep. So something to note that Caleb is at 4, not 3. It is not 2 lethal attackers. So that is very relevant.
Hit from the Scrap Trawler.
So BBD at any point can just put stop the attack button down and drop a bridge if he's really feeling threatened. But I mean, then of course he can't really close out the game, you know?
Exactly. Like, how does he finish the game? But on the other flip side, if Caleb hits him for 2 more damage, he's dead to Lightning Bolt.
Yep.
Which I'm assuming. Yeah, it's definitely there. There is 4 of it.
They're definitely in the deck. I know Caleb took out some number. I missed it in sideboarding, but this will be an interesting point of what BBD decides to do here. Because with perfect information, I think you go for it and you attack with both. Caleb would block with the elemental, go down to 1, hope to rip. But without perfect information, I could definitely see it just being jam both, play a bridge, just to make sure you don't die. So we'll see. BBD could just put the stop on this game. Ooh, returning that is interesting. Oh, Scrap Caller gets turned off with Cage, huh?
No, Leyline of the Void.
Oh, Leyline. Yep.
So Cage does stop Trap Trawlers from bringing back creatures for those at home, but it doesn't stop it bringing back artifacts. But it doesn't matter. It never died. It went to exile. And if a creature goes to exile...
No, BBD, no! No! Makes sense, though, to protect yourself from Lightning Bolt. Yep. Drew the Terminate anyways. BBD is a stone cold master.
What's this?
Trying to bring back Pyromancer? I guess that does work.
Oh, it's an ability, not a spell, nor is it returning. That's pretty strong.
Interesting. So those still won't be able to attack if BBD just plays Opal, which he'll have to do.
I forgot that Young Season Pyromancer even had an ability built into it.
Yeah. No, that card, along with some other favorites from Modern Horizon, has definitely given Jund some new life, and that's one of the reasons because of it.
Yeah, I saw two different people playing Hex Drinker today.
Yep. Being able to throw away some... Hex Drinker is the green one.
Oh, it is called that. That's the name of an item in League of Legends as well. I thought I was just getting them all mixed up.
Yep. Hex Drinker as well. And then Ren and 6.
Yes.
Or Ren and 600 for a playset is what it's known as these days online.
It's 400 tickets at the moment for...
yeah, right.
It's insane.
I really hope it goes up in price just so it can be Ren and 600, you know?
I played with it a little bit in a Legacy Bear Force Chalice on 1 Stompy deck on my channel last week. It was pretty gas, just wasteland locking people out when you played bears.
Yeah, seems interesting.
Terminate, Thoughtseize, and Leyline. His hand again. There seems to be a lot of bricks left in Caleb's deck. But I guess to be fair, during board, I would have also kept my Thoughtseizes in. I wouldn't be expecting the... Well, that said, we do know that Urz is a bridge deck, so maybe expecting to go Hellbent.
Well, it's definitely good to Thoughtseize on turns 1 or 2, but obviously less effective here. But honestly, I put the advantage bar towards Caleb here because any buy force or any artifact removal, it's not exactly game on the spot, but BBD will go to 1 and then be forced to draw something to stay alive. And
the other upside is the more bricks that you draw in your deck, the less that you have to draw more bricks, right? There's only so many bricks to draw.
That's math right there.
That's literal science.
Oh
boy, that's the shenanigans. And again,
somebody say shenanigans?
The card does come back from the graveyard regardless of Grafdigger's Cage.
This card is truly mocking us right now. Shenanigans was the Bash Bros podcast, which is run by me, Brian Bronduin, and Brad Nelson's preview card. So it's really just irony here is taking us down. And now, like, drawing another bridge doesn't even do anything. So now I think BBD is drawing cold.
I mean, here's Caleb not respecting BBD springing back with his own Skelementals. But as we all know, he's not playing them. So he's now on 1.
I guess. And that's game. Brew Crew takes down round 2 to put us at 1-1 here.
It's good that I can rely on Caleb to drag up my performance, but I'm not so confident on Seth's performance.
What do we got next? Is it Seth versus Brad with the Chalice deck versus the spells?
The next up is Brad on Eldrazi Tron versus Seth on Free Spell Teamer.
Okay. And, free spells like Chalice of the Void, right?
Yeah. So the problem we've discussed this is that actually the Free Spell Teamer deck, or Rug deck as I'm going to call it, is apparently at its worst against any Chalice decks. That was a very unfortunate pairing for us. So we were really hedging our bets on the Infect Neoform pairing going a bit differently to what it did.
That's what we thought about round 1 though too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, exactly. So perhaps maybe you roll to 4 and draw the Lightning Storms.
Yeah.
But I guess now with hindsight, I'm like, Rakdos on Earth seems like an easy win versus Blue Esper. Was it Esper? No, it's Jeskai, wasn't it?
Grixis. Yeah, it was great,
Oh,
sis. But I mean,
Texas.
just the power of shenanigans that eventually you're going to get the bridge, like, I think really does favor the Rakdos strategy there.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, the post-board match looks a lot better when you've got things like shenanigans, because shenanigans even enables the deck's like strategy, right? You get to like dredge your stuff into the bin and then wreck people. So
Exactly. Yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's I think it's a great deck. I think it's really cool too. Definitely has a place in the metagame there. The skeleton, I keep forgetting the card's name, but the Rakdos skeleton that makes you discard 2 cards.
yeah, Skelemental, just call it that.
Yeah, Skelemental is just disgusting. I mean, it's so much value in one card. Blightning plus take 6.
Like, I mean, it's the old Bloodbraid Elf is at its best when you can cascade into Blightning, but you don't want to play Blightning in your deck, right? So
Yeah.
this is kind of a Bloodbraid Elf for one turn that definitely gives you a Blightning.
Oh
So
my
that's
god.
kinda good.
And think about Bloodbraiding Elfing into the Skelemental.
Ooh, maybe that's the new Jund, just aggro Jund.
Maybe. That's a world I want to be a part of.
You can also
All right, everyone. And
Wait.
it sounds like that is it for this round. We will be back here with round 3 of the Team Modern Super League.
CoolStuffInc.com is your home for everything Magic the Gathering. Need singles for constructed or kitchen table play? Looking to pick up some sealed product or the latest in Magic accessories? We've got you covered with our extensive live inventory. With free shipping on orders of $100 or more, a 25% buy list bonus, and our ever-popular customer rewards program, CoolStuffInc.com is the place for all your Magic the Gathering needs.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Brian Brown, doing fresh off a flummoxing at the hands of Caleb Durward, who's here with me. How's it going, Caleb?
It's going great. It's going better. It's going way better than had the opposite occurred. Flummoxing is a great word, by the way. I like that word. That's a good word.
Thanks. I had to pull that one like deep out of the tank. So
okay.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool match actually. I don't have a lot of experience with the Grixis deck. I think I could have made some different lines in both games 1 and 2, but that was pretty impressive out of the Rakdos deck. I was actually impressed by what that deck can do.
Right? Have you seen that deck beforehand?
No, I haven't.
Okay, it showed up in the Moto 5.0 lists or I believe. I think that's where I found it. Someone had been crushing with it, and I was like, this deck looks kind of fun. I don't know, I'll give it a shot. And then I was playing it, and I was like, okay, I'm murdering people. And then I played a league, and I just kept murdering people. I was like, all right, well, I mean, I guess I'll keep murdering people. I don't know.
I mean, if they're
Who am
not
I
going to
facing
stop
tomorrow?
you,
A former world champ. Let's go. Let's.
if they're not going to arrest you for it, why not keep murdering people? I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, I was impressed. The Skella, what is it called?
Skelemental.
Skelemental. Yeah, Skelemental was beating both games.
A little bit better than Ball Lightning.
Yeah.
Just about 2 cards better than Ball Lightning.
Yeah, it's also 3 damage better than Ball Lightning. So
right. Well, anytime you staple 2 cards together, it tends to be pretty strong, right? Like Lodestone Golem was 2 cards stapled together. Cryptic Command is kind of like 2 cards stapled together.
Cryptic's kind of like 4 cards, like kind of like folded together in some like horrible concoction or whatever. But
yeah. But Unearth is like what really makes the deck sing, because it's so good with the elemental, the seasoned pyromancer, and then it's good with the elemental and stuff as well. Anyway.
Yeah, no, that deck seemed like kind of like a newer evolution of Hollow One. Maybe not quite as explosive as Hollow One can be, but maybe a little bit more resilient and a little bit more powerful in some spots.
Sure, I can see that. Yeah, both red-black Faithless Looting decks. With a couple of the same threats, right? Bloodghast and the Phoenix.
Yeah.
I think it plays out a little bit closer to the to like Mardu Pyromancer, the way you like spend all of your stuff, and it doesn't matter if you're getting some card disadvantage on Faithless Lootings and stuff, because like the Seasoned Pyromancer is just going to draw you a few cards anyway, or the Dreadhorde Arcanist is just going to like get you that card advantage back.
Yeah, it seems like certainly a better version of Mardu Pyromancer, which I don't think has been putting out much performances lately, but this definitely seems like a little bit more aggressive and interactive version of the deck.
Love that interaction. Hard to do anything when you don't have cards. Of course, at the end of that game, I was like top decking Thoughtseizes and stuff. So that is the flip side of the coin, right?
Yeah, we were kind of in that battle of like, who draws something first? Am I going to
who draws anything at all first is going to win this? Yeah, exactly.
If I draw Thopter Foundry, I think I just take it. If you draw a Shenanigans or by force, the game's just over. So
yeah, I thought it would be a battle of sideboard cards game 2. Really quick, did you board in Leyline against me? I was curious about that.
I did. That was my last draw, actually.
Oh, okay, cool.
All right, looks like players are ready, so we're going to jump into our next match, which is between Saffron Olive and Brad Nelson. It looks like it is the Free Spell Teamer deck against Eldrazi Tron. All right, so...
My God.
I don't know what is happening with this hand. This is not the modern that I play, so...
So the Free Spell Teamer deck is really, really weak to Chalice. If you have open deck lists, you can just see and be like, oh, I should play a Chalice on 0. So Brad's hand has a Chalice, so we should be going to a game 2 pretty quickly, is just how I would say is what's going to happen here. I wish there was more to the matchup than that. I wish there was more to the hands than that, but that's all I got. Is BBD frozen? Is his hand frozen? Oh, it just looked like your image was frozen. You're blinking now. I see you now.
Okay, am I back and good to go? I feel like I've been flickering out here, just like your chances of winning this game are flickering out with that Chelsea.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Bash Bros bringing the smack talk. More like the trash bros, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, if I can't bring it in the game, I got to bring it somewhere. So
that's true. That's valid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks like Chalice basically just shuts off the entire deck. I'm not sure if there's a way to beat a Chalice outside of like basically Brad doing nothing.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, we can look at the deck lists.
Yeah, let's take a look and see what options there are. So there's Greater Gargadon. That's a 9/7. That's a big beater.
That plus 3 bolts got him.
Oh yeah.
Postboard Saffron's got a few options, right? Ancient Grudge, Abrade, Natural State. I think that's a disenchant. And then some Blood Moons.
Yeah, usually Natural State's a card where you're like, this is never going to work against a Chalice, but with Chalice actually wanting to go on 0, it actually does work. So
yeah.
Usually Chalices are on 1 and you're looking at your Natural States, like, what's happening?
I would not have had the guts to bring this free spell Teamer deck. I play some brews. I play brews on occasion. I didn't bring one of my own brews this week, but I usually do play a lot of brews in tournaments and stuff. And this deck's a little wild even for me. This is a saffron masterpiece.
Oh yeah, it looks like a sweet deck at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot argue the sweetness of it. But yeah, it is definitely a bit of a brew. Well, now it looks like he can cast a lightning bolt without paying any mana. So
Combo.
yeah, that is a
I mean,
combination.
if there wasn't a Chalice on 0 in play, like he would have 2 4/4s. He would have drawn 3 more cards from the ancestral. Like you can see the power there. You can see the power there.
Oh
It's
yeah.
just
Oh yeah. He would have
imposed.
done some disgusting stuff. Actually, I mean, turn 2, just do it all.
Was Eldrazi one of the few bad matchups for Hagak? I read the reasoning behind banning Bridge, and they were like, the Hagak only had like 2 bad matchups in like all of the top played decks. There were only like 2.
Yeah, it was like the top 10 decks. There were like 8 good matchups or something. I think is what
Something
it
like
was.
that, yeah.
I don't remember. I don't know which ones were the bad ones. I'm not sure if that was announced.
I would
Me-
guess that one of them was Eldrazi because you can like main deck that Chalice, put Chalice down on 1 and stuff, and then I would guess that the other one is blue-white control.
Yeah,
But
I mean, especially if
I don't
they're
actually
main
know.
decking Graveyard Hate and have 4 Rest in Peace on the board or whatever. Seems like they're
Yeah.
probably favored in a match. But
And then
speaking of favored, who would you
How about
say
this
is favored?
right now? Oh,
Yeah,
I'll think
who's-
about it.
It's a
We
tough
need an
call.
arrow. We need an
Yeah,
advantage arrow.
you need an
That's the only
advantage
way.
for it, but I don't know which way to put it. It's so close. I guess Brad wins.
Apparently,
yeah,
it wasn't as close as we thought because there's the
Yeah,
match.
who could have predicted that? Yeah, 4 Chalice of the Void against all 0 mana spells is a little bit of a rough matchup, but as you said, afterboard there are some outs here.
If it hadn't been public deck lists, like say they just like meant playing on Moto or something, like a Mox Championship or whatever they meet in some round, I mean, maybe that plays out differently, right? Maybe he saves the Chalice to put it on 1 and then gets destroyed.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like I think just straight up playing Brad's never going to play a Chalice for 0 in the dark, and then if he gets to go turn 2, make 2 4/4s, draw 3 cards, and maybe do a bunch of other stuff as well, that might just be enough to get the job done, even if a Chalice comes down the next turn, especially with 2 bolts in hand.
Did you see what Brad changed sideboarding?
So it is hard to tell exactly. I'm curious if he sideboarded a Chalice out for the Karn value. I would guess that doesn't sound correct, but oh, there it is. Oh, he's tanking on it right now. There it is.
I mean, turn 3 Karn might be fast enough.
Yeah, turn 3 Karn could be good enough. But outside of that, it looks like he's bringing in. Is he bringing in Ratchet Bomb? I guess Ratchet Bomb. I don't know what
Kill some
Ratchet Bomb
4/4
really
tokens.
is. Yeah, it gets 4/4s. It can get some. It can go up to 3. Maybe get like an As Foretold at some point in time.
Yeah, it seems unlikely. It seems like a real slow answer to an As Foretold, but
Right. It's probably just there as destroy 2 4/4s, which is not bad.
No, not bad at all. The 4/4s match up well against Matter Reshaper and Thought Not Seer. The only creature threat that Brad has that is good against 4/4s is the 5/5 Smasher.
But even Smasher can't really attack into 2 4/4s. Just trades with 1. Like Smasher will hold them back defensively, but it's the 4/4s really shut down most of the board.
All right, on to the next game.
Yeah, I guess if Saffron brought in Blood Moon as well, you can get that with a Ratchet Bomb. But even if Blood
That's
Moon
valid.
does that much against Eldrazi Tron, like Expedition Maps, Mind Stones, Wastes, it's not really that big of a deal.
All valid points.
Is that a Chalice in the opening hand I see? Interesting.
It is. On the other hand, Saffron has 2 Simian Spirit Guides and an As Foretold, which means that he can turn 1 that restore balance, and there's nothing that Brad can do about it. So
that's actually kind of great. I mean that's basically Mind Twist, like. But then doesn't he have to sacrifice his own land? Isn't that how the card works? Yeah. He does. I don't know if that's worth it. Maybe it is.
I don't think he's doing it. It would be hilarious, but I don't think he's doing it. I think he's Serum Visionsing. Well, he's dropping the As Foretold turn 1.
Oh, yes. I like it. Come on. You know you want to do it. Yes, there it is.
He doesn't need the land. He's got the As Foretold. He can just cast Serum Visions off that next turn.
Hell yeah, he can.
Amazing.
That is just a really good play, actually.
Amazing. So Brad's on 2 cards. He's got a Chalice of the Void and what else? Like a land. That's.
Yeah, I guess he probably keeps Chalice and wastes. I'm not sure.
Oh my god.
This is Magic as it was meant to be. Just both players hell bent on the first turn, essentially.
This is some Saffron Olive specific nonsense going on right now.
Oh, you have a Chalice for 0 in your hand? What if you don't have time to cast it? Bliss is actually a pretty good draw for Brad. Like, if he draws another land, I don't know.
Looks like a Faithless Looting.
Not bad.
No. Saffron doesn't actually need to play these lands. He can just loot them away.
I could see him playing the Mountain and using that to cast a looting next turn, maybe, but I am curious a little bit about he still has to deal with the Chalice. I guess he can use looting to find an answer for Chalice.
Mm-hmm.
And that could maybe.
I think that's the plan, yeah.
I don't know. I think he's pretty favored here, but anything can happen for sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, he might just never find an answer to the Chalice. that could very clearly happen.
Oh yeah.
Brad could just hit runner lands.
Yeah, if he just runs off 3 lands in a row, plays a Karn, like who knows? I guess I could conceivably get there. I wouldn't bank on it, but
what are your thoughts on Karn?
I like the card. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah. Some people are really strongly opinionated. They're like, well, Karn has ruined Legacy and it's miserable and modern, and like people just right. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have that kind of a strong opinions. It's a 4-mana planeswalker. I mean, like they with Jace the Mind Sculptor banned for so long and then eventually unbanned and not like that, not even not only not oppressive, but not even that good in the format. Like not really just losing my mind over another 4-mana walker.
Sure. Yeah, I was against Jace's unbanning, but not on power level. I just think it's a miserable card.
I was pro it with the exception that I felt like the price of it was a little bit of a problem, but
sure, like the same reason. Well, one of the reasons you might want to reconsider unbanning like a Mana Drain, for example, from Legacy. Even if you thought Mana Drain would be fine or whatever, like maybe that'd be awful because then I mean no one gets to play it because it costs too much anyway.
Yeah, I mean there's already all those cards like Tabernacles and Moats and stuff that cost $1 million. That I don't know if adding. It's like what is really the benefit of unbanning this card? Like maybe it's fine enough to see play in the format, but does it like make the format better or not? I don't know. All right, there is the land. So Saffron's not really doing anything, and Brad does have Karn next turn if he draws another land. So is he trying to get As Foretold up to 9 to hardcast a Gargadon?
I think so. I think that's why he didn't suspend.
Is that the game plan here?
I think right now he might be regretting. Okay, he's suspended now. I think right now he might be regretting not playing the Forest and the Utopia Sprawl earlier, so that he could then flash back the Faithless Looting.
Yeah,
because he hasn't actually hit his 3rd land to flash it back naturally.
Yeah, I think I would have probably made that play back when he looting a few turns back. Though I don't know that it's correct, but
Right. Yeah, no, I've never played the As Foretold deck. I have no idea.
all right. Brad does hit land for Karn. Now I'm saying Brad's actually ahead right now. I don't know what options he has with this Karn, but putting this into play is pretty big.
We could create our own advantage arrow. Every time Brad's favored, we just like sink down lower and lower, and then
Well,
if Saffron,
I gotta raise up higher though.
and then if Saffron's like winning, then we go up higher.
Well,
People just joining could tell.
Gotta get into my slouch, my gamer slouch position to represent. All right, this is apparently a tough choice here. I don't even know what his options are. I guess I could look at his list and see. I mean, that's a lot of effort, but I'll do my best. So it looks like Basilisk Collar, Crucible, Ensnaring Bridge, Grafdigger's Cage, Coding, Lattice.
Looks like you grabbed a Sky Sovereign.
Okay, boat. Get an old boat. I don't hate getting a boat. I mean, it's just. I don't know. It does cost 5 though. He does not have the mana for it.
I would have thought about maybe grabbing the liquid metal coating.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Yeah. I think coding. I think I probably would have also gone for the coding because then you get to just start hitting lands, but maybe that doesn't matter. Like there's also a Gargadon suspended, so
yeah, valid. And Saffron's at 13. It's a nice boaty number.
Yep, that's 2 swings and a ballista activation. Although, yeah, no, actually, let's see. Boat would only be a 5 if Karn Plus is on it, if I'm not mistaken. But all right, so now he could just get the coding this turn for sure too, which he might do because he has the mana to cast coding plus Matter Reshaper. He's getting Basilisk Collar. Okay, that allows Ballista to serve as an answer for Greater Gargadon and an answer to should Saffron find a way to blow up the Chalice, then he has something else here that can potentially
Absolutely.
fight.
Looting. That is a bad loot.
That is not great. I would have considered just throwing down a 2/2. Just getting just playing Simony and Spirit Guide for its natural for its intended purpose. A Gray Ogre.
Ooh. Down to 9. There's a lethal in play now here, right? Because the Karn can uptick on Basilisk Collar. 1, 4, 5, 6. Oh no, it's only 8.
I think it's 1 short of lethal. Yeah. I hope Brad doesn't see the line of tick up Karn on Chalice.
That line doesn't sound very good.
No, it's not great. It's not great.
One of the ways that Karn made Bomberman in Legacy a lot better is you were weak to that. You were weak to a Chalice on 0 from the opponent because you wanted to cycle LEDs to get infinite mana with salvagers and stuff, and so much of your deck costs 0. So even though you are a Chalice deck, because you're setting it on 1 yourself to protect your stuff, you are actually weak to Chalice. But now we've got this new Karn that you can drop off of your soul lands that upticks on the opponent's Chalice and keep doing your thing.
I love that aspect of Magic where you're playing a deck based around a Magic card like Chalice, but if your opponent's also playing the same card, even though it's a symmetrical card, it just crushes you. I love that. Like, I think the best example of that is I watched a video once of Matt Nass and Sam Pardee playing a Blood Moon Dark Depths deck where they would play a Blood Moon, play a Dark Depths with 0 counters, then just destroy their own Blood Moon. And they played against Blood Moon, and they could not. They had 0 outs. They just were cold to an opposing Blood Moon in their mono red Blood Moon deck. So
Amazing.
yeah, it was something to behold. All right, I don't know what Saffron can possibly do to get out of this. It doesn't look great.
You'd have to draw an answer to the Chalice and then have a really nice Ancestral Vision. It doesn't look like that's an answer to Chalice.
It does not. No.
I think that's the way the cookie crumbles. Well, Brad Nelson wins. You folks are up 2-1, right?
Yep, we are up
How
2-1 now. What's up?
I said, how unfortunate.
I disagree, actually. I'd be fine. I'd be fine jumping up to 3-1. Actually, let's see. What is the next matchup? I think it's me versus Corbin. So Corbin's been talking a lot of trash about Merfolk. So let's see if he can put his fins where his money where his fins are. I don't know if is that a thing.
I'm not that flush on Merfolk anatomy.
Yeah, me neither. All right, well, that looks like that's it for this round. So we're going to jump to ads. Be back for more Modern Super League.
CoolStuffInc.com is your home for everything Magic the Gathering. Need singles for constructed or kitchen table play? Looking to pick up some sealed product or the latest in Magic accessories? We've got you covered with our extensive live inventory. With free shipping on orders of $100 or more, a 25% buy list bonus, and our ever-popular customer rewards program, CoolStuffInc.com is the place for all your Magic the Gathering needs.
Hey, what is up, everyone? I'm Brad Nelson. I'm joined by the one, the only Seth Saffron Olive. How's it going?
It was going better until you just crushed me, but no, it's going well, Brad. How are you?
Good. I mean, that is my pet deck. I wish I got to play it in a matchup where we have more interaction. But that was just such a lopsided. Like, we got lucky with the pairing on that one, right? Like, our one Chalice deck against the one deck that's like biggest enemy is Chalice of the Void. It's a card that's not really seen play right now. It's very unlucky for you. You could definitely call on luck on that one.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a great matchup. Chalice is like the single best card in Modern against that deck. So when I saw the draw, I was like, this isn't ideal. At least I got to do something cool in game 2. I thought I might have had you in game 2 with the turn 1 balance down to 2 cards, but you never know. That's why you play the game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I definitely assumed that I was going to lose that one. And I was halfway through that game. I was like, what show are we putting on for the Modern Super League this week? Like, this looks nothing like the other episodes. Like, we have like our round 1, we have just like a glass cannon strategy not getting there. And then ball lightnings, I don't know, skeletons, I don't know what the name's called, against Urza. And then our match, I mean, at least we're going to be showing them some of the tier 1 strategies of Modern coming up for round 4. Yep. We've got Brian Braunduin on Devoted Druid combo, and of course the best deck in the Forbin. Corbin is playing Merfolk.
Yeah, we couldn't talk him out of it. I think it was the worst weekend for Merfolk to like 12-3 at GP, because as soon as that happened, we knew there was no way we could talk Corbin out of Merfolk. So,
well, I had to pick between Jund and Eldrazi, and I picked Eldrazi. Luckily, I'm assuming your Jund matchup is probably pretty good.
Jund matchup's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly though, for the Modern Super League, this is just a very fun, enjoyable like competition to be a part of. If there is a tournament setting that you should just pick the deck you want to play, it's this one, right? Like yeah. you should definitely play your favorite deck. And that's what a lot of us are doing. And Corbin has been a fan of the Fish for a very long time. Just like I've loved Eldrazi Tron.
I'm pretty sure he has submitted Fish every Super League. We've played, like, this is our second or third one we've done this, and every time Corbin's got the Fish, and it works out sometimes. Like, he's had some good Fish performance, so hopefully he can pull this one off and bring us up to 2-2 here.
Oh yeah, so now looking at the matchup though, let's take a look at Brian's deck list. Now this is Devoted Druid combo, but it is based around finales and calls, collected companies, and Court of Callings to put the combo together. And now that's great, except for the fact that a fast aggressive element with a free counterspell might just be what is used to beat the strategy, because you can get down fast, aggressive elements that the Morpho deck can do, and then counter one of these big cards, and that might be the game, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a chance. There's also a couple of miscallers in the main deck, which can be a nice way to maybe sneak out a exiling of one of those like Court of Calling creatures or Collected Company creatures. So there are some answers in the Merfolk deck. The part I'm scared about from our side is there's not much interaction once the combo pieces are on the table. Like if you can just go, turn 2 Devoted Druid, turn 3 Vizier, that's going to be tough for Merfolk to beat. There's not real removal in the deck. I guess there's like Harbinger of Tide, sort of Merfolk Trickster to try to like buy a bit of time, but not a way to just straight up like Fatal Push or Lightning Bolt a combo piece.
Oh yeah, and keep in mind, if the Devoted Druid stays untapped once the Vizier comes into play, there's no time for the Harbinger to interact with it.
Yeah, so Harbinger
taps and untaps.
So Harbinger's not really that great of an answer.
No, and but like I said, we're not talking about the cards that cost mana. We're talking about the cards that don't cost mana. And now Force of Negation is a new card for Modern Horizons that just takes a blue card and it to counter any non-creature spell. And I think Corbin has quite a few blue cards in his deck. Right. But yes, so we're gonna actually go down, take a look at this matchup. We've got Brian Braunduin on Vizier combo and Corbin on Merfolk. So let's actually see if we can get up 3-1. Now that does not look like a good hand from Brian.
No, there's a Vizier, but a lot of lands. On Corbin's side, also doesn't look like a great hand. A few too many Ether Vials, but there is a Mutavault. It's a slow clock, though.
I'm a firm believer in if you play a loose strategy, you have to keep loose hands. Like you have to just ride the wave, right? Like you can't mulligan to like, so a lot of the hands are going to look like that. So
and I mean, I guess it's true that we're talking about London mulligans, and we've seen like the Neo brand deck, and I was playing the free spell deck. Merfolk is not a deck that's really like looking to mull to 5 to find, I don't know, Lord of Atlantis or something. That's like the opposite of how you want to play Merfolk.
Yeah, you want to play a deck that a less resources is not going to be a detriment. And like decks like this, that is the case. Now there are some strategies where I've actually found that it doesn't hurt that bad. Like Thoughtseize strategies don't mind going to 6 with the London Mulligan rule, because there's a lot of times when you mulligan and you have 2 hand disruption spells and you only want 1. Those are big moments. But both these decks like resources.
Yeah, Merfolk really needs just like a critical mass of Merfolk, really. And the Vizier combo deck, while it is very strong, it does take a lot of pieces to actually pull off the combo.
Yeah, so for anyone that doesn't know much about the Druid deck, Devoted Druid, along with Vizier of Remedies, I believe is his name, creates infinite mana once the Devoted Druid no longer has Summoning Sickness. And then with that, you need a third piece that either searches through your library for something that has a mana sink, like a Walking Ballista or Shalai, or does the deck have a Duskwatch Recruiter as well? I assume maybe this version doesn't. But that also does it. It does. It has 2 of them, and that can get you through the rest of your deck. So that was actually a pretty good draw, because that will in fact actually be game next turn if Corbin does not find something.
Yeah, and so this is where you were talking about like the force of negation. The force of negation on the Court of Calling is a way that Corbin could interact if it's a land. If he had found it, that would have been a way to interact. But it looks like here we're going to see Court of Calling for Vizier, and then with the infinite mana, Eternal Witness back the Court of Calling to get whatever payoff, Duskwatch or something.
So it's not over just yet. Now, what we can do is if this looting hits exactly another what is that, a fairy conclave?
Another fairy conclave, yeah.
Yeah, but if that actually hit but I don't remember the names of these cards, Harbinger of the Tides, that there's going to be a window where that Court of Calling was going to be being cast and the Devoted Druid was going to be tapped. But I guess it could just pay 1 and then tap. Yeah, no, it was over.
Yeah, I think it's looking. Actually, would there be a window for Merfolk Trickster to stop it, since it makes it lose all abilities for a turn?
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, no, that would have stopped it for a second. Yeah.
So that would have bought a little bit of time, maybe. But yeah, this one, Corbin drew a lot of lands this time, and the Vizier deck, while you need like 2.5 combo pieces to go off, essentially, it is really consistent at finding them.
Oh yes, yeah. It just, there's so much redundancy in all of the other spells. Also, decks like this sometimes can just, like, you see these Voice of Resurgence in the deck. These are just ways to like nickel and dime your opponent on value and beatdown while they're having to focus on the combo. And
yeah. That seems like a legitimate backup plan, which is kind of a nice thing to have. You can win games with random Voice of Resurgence tokens, some Kitchen Finks beats. That will get there eventually if your opponent's spending all the removal on your combo pieces.
Yeah, and if they're worried about the Devoted Druid, sometimes you can backdoor into the combo of Kitchen Finks plus Viscera Seer and why are the names so similar to each other? Vizier of Remedies. And that, since Devoted Druid doesn't get counters put on it through its ability, that's the same thing as what would happen to a Kitchen Finks. It comes back into play. It's never getting that -1/-1 counter, so it's coming into play. You get infinite scries, infinite life.
Yeah, kind of a backup combo there as well, along with the beatdown plan. And that looks like Corbin, he knows it's over, scooping it up and going to sideboarding.
Yep. So if that game played out to its full completion, what would happen is Brian would tap and untap Devoted Druid for mana roughly 100 times. And then Court of Calling for Duskwatch Recruiter. Duskwatch Recruiter would dig through the deck until it finds Walking Ballista, and then Ballista for 20 damage. And obviously it would be more than 100 mana, and it would take way longer than it needs to. So Corbin sees the writing on the wall and concedes. And now we get to move to sideboarding.
Yeah, I always appreciate the concession on Magic Online with those click intensive combos. So good move by Corbin. Sideboard wise, what do you guys have, Brad? What's coming in from your side?
Well, it doesn't really matter because the matchup's so good. No, I'm kidding. We have so this is a weird matchup because we can try to play interactive with like cards like Path to Exile. There is a Plague Engineer that should be good, but also like there's Lords that kind of there's so many like Lord of Atlantis effects and Anthem effects that like 1/1/1 is just going to stop like half of it. But that still is a card that I would want in the deck because if it could stop some, maybe it's not worth it. Is it even in the deck? Oh yeah, there it is. I was looking over. And then yeah, we're just like looking for small amounts of interaction. Like we see Brian is bringing in a Knight of Autumn and 2 Assassin's Trophies to just interact with some of the spells that Corbin might be putting on the board. Like getting rid of a Vial is pretty nice with that Knight of Autumn. Over on the Merfolk side, what are y'all gonna do?
I think the biggest one is 3 copies of Dismember, which actually gives a way to interact with the combo pieces once they slip through the counter spells and get on the battlefield. There's also Grafdigger's Cage, which can be a good way to shut down some of the tutoring effects if you're trying to find things with Finale and Court of Calling and the like. So I think those are the big ones. Unsure about Tidebinder Mage. Again, that's another card that seems like it would be good at stopping the combo, but because Devoted Druid can untap itself, a little less effective than you would think.
I agree with that completely, but this is savage if Brian keeps this. This is a close can. I would consider going Noble Hierarch, search for another Noble Hierarch, and there's only 2 cages, so like there are times in Magic where you look at your opening hand and you just have to say beat me, right? Because if you try to play around everything, you end up mulliganing and playing too passive that any strategy wins. And if you're in a matchup like Merfolk that's super aggressive, yep, those cages are just going to get me, beat me with them. And that's what we're going to see.
Yeah, the cage is going to be very good here, and I'm sure Brian did not want to see that on turn 1. It is a solid hand, though, especially with the turn 1 Noble Hierarch. You're getting to those Court of Collected Companies very quickly if you use Finale to grab another Mana Dork, so...
I feel like this game also is a lot like our game 1 of last match. Oh.
So the Tidebinders did come in, and they're actually looking decent here. Might not be stopping the combo, but slowing down Brian a little bit.
Oh yeah, we will be playing a third game in this match. Like we're gonna see a land coming to play tapped, and then a Lord coming down in Master of the Pearl Trident. I think that Master of the Pearl. Is that it?
Yeah, Master of the Pearl Trident. That sounds.
Is Pearl the
right.
Trident, the 1/1/1 old one?
Yeah, Merfolk of the Pearl Trident is the 1/1/1. Yeah.
And so that's going to come down, and then Kitchen Finks is going to try to stem the bleeding, but in fact, it's going to get tapped down, and we're going to be taking a total of 8 damage next turn. So with 4 cards shut down, Brian, there's no way Brian wins this one.
We saw the Knight of Autumn come in, so there are answers to Grafdigger's Cage in the deck, but it's just not going to be fast enough. Even if it was drawn this coming turn, there's so much damage coming across. And there's still the Force of Negation to get rid of the first tutor effect, assuming Grafdigger's Cage does go away.
Yeah, and this is just taking it's 8 into 11 damage over the course of 2 turns. So due to this, Brian has 1 blocker. The writing's on the wall, but even if Brian wanted to attempt to block, he has to top deck another chump blocker, which he has failed to do. So
yeah, well, I guess we found the way that Merfolk can win the matchup. It's draw one of the 2 cages.
Draw the sideboard cards. I agree with that. That is modern in a nutshell.
Oh, so true. And is this not just lethal, or is it just lethal?
It should just be lethal.
Yeah, I think that is just lethal.
Yeah, it should just be exactly. And then...
Yeah, Brian's hand just did not line up with that cage. That's 4 cards in his hand that just did nothing as soon as that cage came down on turn 1.
Oh, it was brutal.
So how much does play draw matter in this? Like, do you think Brian or Corbin are going to change their sideboard plans based on play draw here at all?
So I'm going to answer that in 2 parts. I believe that play draw is way more important than most people give credit, but it's also really difficult to always do every single format and build decks around it. And then the second part is it's very difficult, so I have no idea.
I mean, I think being on the play definitely helpful in this matchup for either player, but it doesn't seem like we're seeing significant sideboard changes yet. So I'm going to defer to them since they know these decks better than I do.
Yes, this will be Brian's third game with this deck. Lifetime.
That's still 3 more than me, so.
Yeah. Now this is a hand of magic cards. Woo-wee.
Oh boy. So Corbin has Grafdigger's Cage. Oh, back
Mulligan
into another
the
one-lander.
Grafdiggers, yeah.
I think this is worse than the first hand that actually had blue mana in Cavern.
Yeah, this is actual just second verse, same as the first.
Well, he keeps getting the Grafdigger's Cage, so I guess Corbin's probably happy about that, although not going to be nearly as effective in game 3 as it was in game 2, looking at Brian's hand and that Assassin's Trophy.
Well, it's not that. This hand is it's low resources and no Lord. Okay, there is a Lord, but turn 3 Plague Engineer is going to get that Silvergill Adept off the board before the Anthem comes down. Because we're not going Cage first. Okay, so this is bad. This is bad. Oh,
and that looks like the combo being drawn.
Well,
so
yeah, but we can't finale. So this is crazy. So we can't finale due to that miscolor in play, and it's a sacrifice. So even if we deal with it, it'll get sacrificed, and then we still can't use the force. So we're technically going to create infinite. We'll be able to create infinite mana, but the only thing we'd be able to do with it is activate the Gavany Township if everything interacts the way that it should, and if the cards do what I think they do.
I think you're right. It looks like infinite mana, but no payoff at the moment.
So this is a tough turn. Merfolk Trickster is a nice draw, but it depends on what's going to get cast. Now, it looks like setting stop, so the Trickster is going to happen. Now, if the Trickster happens, then Brian's still going to be able to play Brazier, play Plague Engineer. The Mistcaller is going to be sacked, and then the Force isn't going to be able to be cast. But then the next turn, it loses all abilities.
Yeah, so it would lose all abilities.
So then the Plague Engineer just gets cast, I guess.
Yeah, so the Plague Engineer would come down. That would deal with the Mistcaller. I think Corbin's considering playing the Lord here, which almost could that be a better line? Like, I wonder if Plague Engineer is on his radar. I mean, he has to know what's in the sideboard, but if that's something he's considering here.
I think it's actually between Adept and Trickster, if I had to guess, because playing Lord here is you're not interacting with your opponent. You do have the Mistcaller, but you're not interacting with your opponent, and you're not getting any velocity. And what's this Adept going to do? Is it just going to get stuck in your hand? The Plague Engineer is very good, but I don't know. Like I said, I don't think you can play around a one of. You have the Mistcaller for any of the search things. So, the Plague Engineer literally has to be drawn. I think just because it's in the hand is why we're focusing so much on it. I don't think Corbin's even thinking about it.
Yeah, it is just a one of, so that is probably true.
I think
Corbin is thinking this through, though. Not an easy decision, apparently.
Oh no, and I mean, Corbin also wants to tie it up with the fish, right? One game away from winning a match with Merfolk is closer to winning a match with Merfolk than Corbin's played in a long time, right?
that is very true. He wants this one.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it looks like he's going with the Merfolk Trickster plan, most likely. That was a
heads up block by Brian.
Yeah, got to save that point.
And so this is worst nightmare for Corbin.
So the Mistcaller still buys a turn, right?
The Mistcaller does buy the turn, but this is going to be infinite mana put into play, Plague Engineer put into play.
Yeah, so the board's going to get wiped. Infinite mana will be there next turn, and there's an answer to the Grafdigger's Cage, which would be the maybe way to stop the finale next turn. So unless Corbin has a great draw, which I guess like a force of negation to stop the finale. The game should just be over next turn.
Yeah, it's going to be rough. Like a land, yeah, could Cage plus Trickster, but
And even that's just like buying another turn, I guess, trying to
yeah,
stave off the inevitable. That was an impressive Plague Engineer.
Yeah, the card seems really good. I like I was thinking, I made a promise. We talked about it before we started, but I told Brian that I'm just going to play whatever he plays, and at the Mythic Championship 4, and he has played humans previously. He did play the last one, but with Plague Engineer, it seems scary to play that like out there.
Yeah.
I know it's not in a lot of decks, but it's still just a very scary effect.
I actually think it's probably less scary against Merfolk than a lot of decks because of all the lords, but it was still very impressive in this game. Against like elves or humans, it can be super good.
Oh yeah, it was devastating this game. And now we're going to see Assassin's Trophy and the activation of a bunch of mana. And Corbin doesn't know if Brian has it or not. And it's on Brian's radar to just keep making mana to make Corbin think that, like we're in we have an audience, so I might as well concede to so Corbin's going to have to wait it out.
Yep.
If I was in Brian's position, I would also just be adding mana as a troll without anything in hand.
Just to try to get the concession.
No, just for the audience to laugh.
Yeah,
but I'll get the free roll concession.
This is actually one of the most straightforward, I think, of the kills of the deck. With Finale Devastation, you can grab literally any creature, right? If you cast Finale with X being large enough, and it just attacks and wins.
That is true, right? So and everything gets pumped, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like a Crater Hoof Behemoth almost, I think.
Do like that card.
And yeah, there it is. And Merfolk fought a good fight, but in the end, where do you think that this Vizier Druid combo deck ranks right now in Modern, Brad? Like, I was watching some of the coverage this past week. It seems to be performing really well and doing well on camera. Is this like one of the top tier decks in the format?
So I do not know how resilient matchups like Phoenix. I did watch some of the coverage, and these are like, I can't actually answer exactly what will happen, but I do know what will make this deck good. I think decks like this are at their best when things are very combo centric, because there's less like creature interaction. Well, it depends on how you build it, right? Because if creature interaction is very important, that like one of the things a lot of people, I thought like when I played Jund, Elves was actually a bad matchup because it was designed around card advantage. And if you build these Druid decks around a lot of card advantage, some of those matchups can be more difficult, but they usually have to be built faster. So to answer your question, I believe that it depends on how good the Phoenix matchup is. And if it can go toe-to-toe with that, if other combo decks show up in the format in the form of Dredge or whatever, what have you, that has less interaction, or at least in the first 3 turns, then I think that this is going to be a very good deck. It also got a lot of upgrades in Modern Horizons, but like a lot of people have said, Hogak strategies kind of just stymied the evolution of the format. The set is insane, right? Modern Horizons is very good for the format, so we don't know what's out there. There might be a few things that, like my prediction is there's a lot of people that are going to show up with this and Phoenix and Humans and Dredge and Tron or whatever, and there's just going to be a group of like, lab scientist Magic players that just show up with like an unbelievably awesome deck at this tournament and have a really good win percentage.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this Mythic Championship. I think it's really cool. Like, as much as Hogak was not ideal for the format, I don't think, as we saw, because now it's banned. Like, that was, everyone kind of agreed on that. It does kind of give us 2 new formats with Modern Horizons. We had like the release and like a month and a half of like Hogak and other stuff. And now we're like kind of starting from scratch with Modern Horizons, London Mulligan, and Modern.
That's like saying that like Kaladesh Block gave us like 6 different standard formats.
Yeah, exactly. And everyone loved those standard formats.
Oh, too good. All right, so that is going to be it for round 4. Now, the Brothers Who Bash have been bashing, and we are up 3-1 on Brew Crew, but it's not over. I've seen Corey lose matches of Modern before. I've seen myself lose matches of Modern, and now I've seen Brian lose a match in round 2. So you all have to get 3 in a row, and we're going to be starting things off with Boring Old Phoenix from the Bash Bros and a really interesting Goblin deck piloted by Caleb in the next round. So we're going to cut to commercial, but stay tuned for round 5 and a very exciting Phoenix versus Goblin matchup.
CoolStuffInc.com is your home for everything Magic the Gathering. Need singles for constructed or kitchen table play? Looking to pick up some sealed product or the latest in Magic accessories? We've got you covered with our extensive live inventory. With free shipping on orders of $100 or more, a 25% buy list bonus, and our ever-popular customer rewards program, CoolStuffInc.com is the place for all your Magic the Gathering needs.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Team Modern Super League. I'm Corbin Hostler, who I just got finished getting destroyed by Brian Brown doing over here. So that was a pretty good match, and now you guys are, unfortunately, just one win away from taking it down.
That is correct. Yeah, I felt like that was a matchup that was maybe a little bit favored for me, but not significantly. you know, I have such an explosive I have some explosive draws that you can't really do anything about. But you did also have some interaction. Drafting Cage.
Game 2 was nice. Game 2 felt like a return to, 2015 Modern. I'm Tidebinder maging Kitchen Finks. That was nice.
Yeah, that was not 2019 gameplay right there. For sure.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I kept a hand with 2 finales and 2 collected companies.
Oh man!
Crossed my fingers that there was no cage, and unfortunately there was a cage. So.
Yeah. Mistcaller is a really nice addition to Merfolk that people might not have noticed over the past, however long it's been out. But it's pretty good against those decks, and sometimes you get Arc-like Phoenix players with it. But game 3 was the really interesting one to me because on turn 2, when you had nothing into Druid, but you had kept 7, I actually kind of put you on Plague Engineer. And I had a lot of options. I could have played Master. I could have played a Lord to play around the Plague Engineer. I could have played Silver Guild to draw. I had Cage in hand. what you saw. So I actually thought I was going to be okay. I actually thought I could, with the Mistcaller out, I could lose my board there, and actually take the engineer, handle the engineer if that's what you had, and then follow up with Cage. But you had a great hand there in game 3.
Yeah, I had it all. I had Druid plus Vizier. I had the finale. I had the engineer, and I had Assassin's Trophy.
Yeah.
So really, I just had it all, and I actually missed lethal, which I didn't realize, but I could.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the turn I plague engineered your creatures, I could have just cast a finale for 20 and just not gotten a creature out of it and just attacked.
Oh, and just given. Wow, you're right. That's I hadn't thought of that line. That would have been impressive, actually, winning on turn 3 through a Cage and a Mistcaller that was in play. That was nice. No,
oh yeah.
Plague Engineer, I am pretty excited to have in Modern. I think it's a really cool version of bringing Engineered Plague into the format.
Agreed. Yeah, I like that card a lot. I mean, personally, I dislike the card because it's really good against some of the decks that I like to play, like humans. But I do think it's a great addition to the format for sure.
Yeah, and it's a fair way to it. It's actually better than Engineered Plague in a lot of decks because it's a creature, which is going to be kind of neat to see play out. But I mean, people were talking about the Mythic Championship on stream here earlier. I am pretty excited because now we get to see what they wanted Modern to be with the London Mulligan and Modern Horizons. We never really got an opportunity since it just immediately got Hogacked, but now it's going to be wide open.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we'll see what happens there. I have no idea what's gonna play out there, but yeah, there's so many cards from Modern Horizons that are quality cards for the format, and it's just a question of like what's gonna be like good enough to actually do well, because there's so many options of cards that are just like really good cards, but like are they modern good, like Seasoned Pyromancer, for example,
right.
or Plague Engineer, I think is just a great card. There's Ren and 6. There's so many cards from the set that I'm curious to see like how it shakes out.
I mean, hey, Jund won the Red Bull thing last week. I believe that was the tournament that it won. That's cool, right? If Jund is good, Modern is good. That's generally the way I've looked at it. As much as I dislike Jund, that it seems to be a good barometer for how the format's doing.
Yeah, and one thing about Jund that's I think is interesting is actually the more narrow the format gets, the better Jund becomes. I in my opinion. So a deck like Hogaak actually greatly benefits Jund because it pushes out all these other decks that then Jund, like the flaw with decks like Jund or other mid-range decks is when you have like 15 decks to worry about, you don't have enough cards to deal with them all. But when one deck is really dominating the format, it opens the door up for something like Jund to actually be good.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I really liked Caleb's Skelemental deck that he played earlier. Big fan of that one. Also a big fan of what we have coming up next. We have Goblins taking on, what is your team bringing to the table here?
Oh, Boring Old Phoenix.
Boring Old Phoenix, yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we're Goblin Ringleader. I don't know if that's what modern Goblins needed, but I like that they're trying. I would love to see Goblins, become an actual deck in the format, even if it's not good. If it's just, playable in something other than sort of the 8-whack shell that it was before, that'd be pretty neat.
Yeah, I agree with that. Goblins was always kind of a cool fringe strategy in Modern, but now it actually can be like before, like you were saying, it was kind of an all-in deck. Now maybe it doesn't have to be. Yeah,
so, all right, here we go into the game. Well, we can talk about Modern Horizons cards. There's Aria of Flame for Corey there. Talk about that card in Phoenix, assuming you are, I believe you're familiar with the archetype.
Yeah, I am. So I actually think this card's great. It is another way for Phoenix to chain spells together and win a game that doesn't involve a creature. Like Phoenix itself is vulnerable to a variety of removal, graveyard hate, etc. Whereas Aria kind of dodges all that and still wins the game, sometimes even faster than Phoenix can do.
Yeah, it's a neat design, that's for sure. Not one you would expect. Caleb, on the other hand, over here, this is an interesting hand. We've got the Vial, and anything with the Vial is a good start. Goblin Ruin Blaster here, Zendikar Standard.
Yeah,
back in play.
I'm feeling there needs to be like a Lotus Cobra to turn it out.
Yeah, that's right. Those were the days. That was the 32. What was it? 32 Jace top 8 or something from an event back then. That was fun times in Standard.
Okay, so Corey just drew the nuts here. It looks like.
Yeah, this is insane. This is what this deck can do.
It is. So he Faithless Looting 2 Phoenixes to the yard, and then he has Lava Dart plus Flashback to get the third spell, and now Caleb's at 18, a convenient life total when he's dealing 6 a turn.
Yeah, welcome to Modern, everybody. We've seen turn 2 Neoform kills. We've seen turn 2 kills on Neoform where it gets Spell Pierced out of the game. And now we're seeing someone trying to have fun and fight the good fight. Caleb here with these goblins getting boogeymaned out here on turn 2 by Phoenix.
Yeah, we have 2 1/1s with Echo against at 12 life 2/3/2 flyers.
We talked about Aria Flame, but it turns out it's not even going to happen.
Yeah, just completely unnecessary. I mean, there are still ways that I mean, I have to check Caleb's list. If he has like something like Sting Scourger, he's not necessarily out of the game. It's going to be a tough one, but
yeah, this is. I think we're a draw step away from being on to game 2 here.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, Phoenix this is sort of, Phoenix was the deck before Hogak arrived, and a lot of decks got a lot of cards, and Phoenix gained at least Lava Dart. We see Aria Flame as well. So, I'm not confident that we're just going to default back to the Phoenix metagame that we had a couple months ago, because Tron got new pieces. There's these Modern Horizons cards that impact the format. And, Phoenix and Tron are going to be number 1 on people's radars in Barcelona here in a couple of weeks. And we'll see what everyone can do about it. But I don't know if Foundry Street Denizen is what they're going to do about it.
Yeah. Denizen against the Lava Dart deck, also a little bit of a liability. But I think that Goblins, like, I wouldn't say that Phoenix is just, even though that game was just a slaughtering.
Yeah.
Cordy kind of just had the nut, and I wouldn't in the dark assume that Phoenix is necessarily favored against Goblins. I think Thing in the Ice is probably like absurd versus them, but Goblins is one of those decks that just like deals a lot of damage in stupid ways. It feels like your opponent has 3 1/1s in play, and then all of a sudden you're taking 10. So I would never count a deck like that out.
That's true. And it does, even if you, against Phoenix, if they don't have a great draw and you can make them burn a lot of spells early just to stabilize, then sometimes, you can at least make getting the Phoenixes themselves out a little more difficult. But now sideboarding, Corey has access to some sweepers. There's Anger of the Gods there. Some more removal coming in as well. So this is one of those decks where you have to be careful, I think, not to dilute your plan too much, but fortunately all the cards you want here work with your main game plan.
Yeah, and one card that Caleb gains though is Chalice of the Void, which is very strong. A turn 2 Chalice of the Void for 1 shuts out a lot of the Phoenix deck. It's going to make it really hard to bring back Arclight Phoenixes or chain cards together. So
yeah, I think Chalice of the Void might be one of the well, it's already been very important, but even more important going forward. Modern has just become more and more lean, which is not a bad thing. But, look at the Merfolk list I played. It wasn't terribly long ago. We were jamming 4 Mirror Regeries and 4 Master of Waves. And now we're back to the legacy style of Merfolk where it's all 2-drops. And you're seeing kind of the whole format go in that direction where it's all about efficiency. And Lava Dart is a pretty interesting piece of tech given that.
Yeah, I agree with that, and like that also showcases one of Corey's cards that just a braid is just so good. It kills a creature or kills a vial or kills a chalice. Cards like that, versatility, cheap versatile cards get better as formats get faster.
Yeah, so looks like we saw a roll to 6 here from Caleb, getting aggressive this time around. No vials. Foundry Street Denizen comes out, and he's got the Ward Marshal follow up. I guess as far as lootings go, it could be a lot worse for Caleb anyways. I mean, only 1 Phoenix in the yard this time.
Yeah, not the actual worst for Caleb. Really slow start for Corey, who's probably going to have to spend next turn flashing back the looting and then attempting the following turn to flip Thing in the Ice and get back to Phoenix.
Yeah, depending on how, aggressive Caleb's turn here is, and we know it's going to be pretty solid. It's a lot of damage coming in. But, the Thing in the Ice can soak up one of those hits. So you could also, go for the Abrade Serum Visions next turn to look for something, but I think you're probably right. If he lootings just to set it up after that, the follow-up, especially when the tokens are around, could be pretty devastating against a board full of small goblin tokens.
Yeah, one interesting thing here is that Sting Scourger. Corey not being able to immediately flip Thing in the Ice means that Sting Scourger is going to bounce it and deal a lot of damage. But that looks like one of those kinds of things that goblins can do to other decks. That's really punishing.
Yeah, and now we see that Corey actually didn't. Not entirely sure what he did with his scries there, but getting the land off the top, that means he's committed this turn to either playing another Serum Visions, or it looks like he just passed with a Braid up here. So setting up probably for flipping that Thing in the Ice next turn.
Yeah, it looks like he is going to try to use a Braid plus a block to soak up damage, flip Thing in the Ice next turn, possibly get a Phoenix back, depending on if he can draw something that's cheap.
Yeah, and we actually see an interesting decision here from Caleb because, this is turn 4. He's got the Sling Gang Lieutenant there, so he can actually sacrifice those goblins for value if that's what he chooses to do. Looks like the Sting Scourger coming out instead.
Yeah, so the Lieutenant would have dealt a lot of damage this turn, but then everything would have gotten picked back up by the Thing in the Ice. So I like going for the Sting Scourger because that basically sets Corey back, and then also you still have the Goblin for next turn, which is probably lethal. I haven't done exactly the math, but
I mean, this is a big hit coming in. Even through that, a Braid. It's swinging for 7, I believe, going to get in for 4. Take Corey down to 11. Now Corey has some options. Finale of Promise off the top. He's got Thing in the Ice, Serum Visions, as well as a Faithless Looting in his graveyard. What does he want to do here? Is it too late to try to flip Thing in the Ice? What's the plan here?
I like what Corey's going for here. Cast 3 spells, get back your Phoenix. That's going to be able to block. Maybe if he blows up the Foundry Street Denizen, that's going to make his Phoenix be big enough to deal with all the creatures in play. Caleb's going to have to sacrifice Sting Scourger, pay 4 anyway. So this is kind of a real, you don't want to cast 3 spells before you've put a Thing in the Ice in play. Right. But this is the safest line, I think, for Corey, and I like him taking it.
Yeah, and this is Sting Scourger, I guess, the MVP of this deck here. This game was, more or less probably over if Corey had gotten to flip that Thing in the Ice. Instead, Caleb can cash in a Sunbake Canyon if he wants. He's not going to. He just wants to ensure he can play that Sling Gang here. Yeah. But Phoenix not attacking is a good sign. Not the end of the game, of course. Phoenix a pretty good blocker as well, but actually opted to pay the Echo and get on in here. So, and the block coming out from Corey.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't hate that line from Caleb. I think that's you get to make the trade. You're no longer aggroing your opponent out because they've kind of stymied your offense a bit. So why not,
Yeah, and if for whatever reason Corey chosen to take that, which he wanted, it's just another creature around for the Sling Gang afterwards. So looks like it's going to be one more spell from Corey here. So probably not going to be able to, do anything. Completely broken with Thing in the Ice, which means Caleb's at least going to get a chance to put some more creatures into play and have some way to get around, get some damage in at least against that Thing in the Ice before it transforms.
Yeah, like the Sling Blade can deal a decent amount of damage, like sacrificing tokens that are otherwise going to get flipped to Thing in the Ice anyway.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like it's like going to be maybe enough to get the job done.
And that is a second Phoenix now hitting the graveyard for Corey there. So when he does bring him back, it's going to be 2 coming back. So along with Thing in the Ice, that's 13 damage. But Sling Gang is probably the best option we have here. Caleb with his back against the wall, fighting for our tournament life. Well, at least our buy into the top 4, anyways.
Yeah, I will say that I like Corey's odds here.
Yeah,
it's not over, but Corey can flip Thing in the Ice and then make and then get the Phoenix back afterwards, which is very convenient. That also represents a ton of damage. So.
Yeah, and going with the opt here on the instep, Anger of the Gods. It's an embarrassment of riches over there right now.
That is a lot of riches. The anchor's like honestly not even that good because the tokens can just get sacked and then Thing in the Ice is going to flip anyway. So
yeah, so I believe Slinging drains, and so if Caleb can come up with a way to find 5 damage off the top, yep, there we go. Loses 1 life and you gain a life. So he's actually gonna gain 5 for what it's worth, back up to 21, which might end up being relevant, but he's gonna really need. I'm not even sure what he could find here, but he's gonna need some way to pull a bunch of damage off the top of his deck.
Yeah, this is a tough spot for Corey because he wants, I like him casting Anger here because he wants Sling Blade gone for good. Because the way he's going to lose this game is just getting drained out 10 goblins to the face or something. And if he goes to flip the Thing in the Ice, he gets drained for 4, but then he still has the Sling Blade for a future turn.
Right. Yeah, and it could chump block as well, and because it actually drains, it makes it changes the clock a little bit, and then Caleb could find something off the top here. So
yeah,
here it is though. It's going to flip the Thing in the Ice. All the goblins are gone. It's 21-5. So can Caleb find a way to pull 5 damage off the top of the deck? That's, I believe, what we're looking at.
Yeah. Will Corey, also the question is, will Corey flip Thing in the Ice here? He might decide not to. Because if Corey's not interested in attacking, because he's afraid of a haste creature or some other shenanigans, outside the shenanigans in his hand, of course, he may just say go, wait for Caleb to redeploy to the board, and then bounce end of turn. Maybe the line that he takes. Yeah,
it looks like what he's going to do. And all right, Sunbaked Canyon doing what it can here. Caleb can. Guess we could go for the Goblin Chieftain. This is much better though.
Sunbaked Canyon doing what a canyon.
Yeah, not too much here.
It's a disease. The Chief is actually pretty good though. Like that gives him the chance to do some real damage.
It does.
I don't know why I keep saying shenanigans. I'm just can't get it out of my head.
Well, I mean, look at this. Actually, Foundry Shriek Denizen in hand, that can come into play off the Vial. The Chieftain gives it haste and +1/+1 plus the trigger. Is that 5 damage?
It is. Yeah, that is actually 5 damage. So
if Corey, it looks like he's going to have a backup Thing in the Ice here, maybe. But if Corey were to, just spend a bunch of mana on a Finale or something here, and attack for 16 or 13 or what have you, Caleb actually does have a way to steal this game right now.
He does. Yeah, he does. He does represent 5 damage in his hand, plus anything off the top that costs 1 or 2 mana.
Yeah.
Or like
one mana.
That would get the job done.
Could find another Foundry Street Denizen or so on here. So yeah, it looks like Corey is going to cast the Finale of Promise, targeting Manamorphose and Serum Vision. So I think he has not played a land, right? So there should still be a Scalding Tarn and a Thing in the Ice to end on here.
Yeah, and that looks like an Upbraid as well. So Corey might consider the line of Corey's not going to want to go to 3 life. I don't think. Just risk dying to Sling Blade, but
off a dart.
Yeah, the dart's a big game.
The dart and the Abrade here. This game was almost really interesting. I guess he was always going to have access to a Thing in the Ice to block, but we saw a brief glimpse of hope there.
Yeah, there was a small moment where you thought maybe the unthinkable can happen. And then you realized it could not. Yeah.
I mean, hey, if Corey had been, if he was 1 mana less there, and obviously hadn't drawn the dart, though, it would have worked. If he, had opted to not play that thing, second Thing in the Ice. But unfortunately, now looks like the writing is on the wall. I guess if you ignore the lava dart that Caleb doesn't know about, he's not technically dead. But yeah, there we go.
Yeah, Caleb theoretically could live another turn. Yeah, if you are not aware of the lava dart, but with the lava dart, the 2 Phoenixes, 7 damage.
Yeah, well, there you go. Congrats to the brothers who bash. Good podcast and not bad at Modern either, I guess.
Another successful bashing. That's what I call it. Every day, another day, another bash.
Yeah, well, that is it. We only were able to take one. Unfortunately, we tried. We were very close this week to just going all tribal decks and bringing merfolk and goblins and slivers and elementals or what have you, shamans. In the end, we had fun and it didn't quite work out, but it was a great week. So this sets you guys up now with a bye into the top 4, I believe, of the Modern Super League. And my team is still into the top 8. So the Brew Crew is not done. The 4 of us will be back next time.
Yes, yeah, you are not done. You can still win your next match and get in there. So
yeah, well, I believe that's all we have. So everyone, thanks for watching. Next week you can find it is the Stream Team versus the Scary Pateris. I'm sure that's how you pronounce it. So
I think it's just Terry, but I'm not an expert on scary things. So.
No, yeah, I mean a Pateri is much scarier. So everyone, thank you for watching Team Modern Super League. We'll be back next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific. Thank you everyone for watching. Good night and enjoy Modern. See you next week.